Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
To the Mina Kimes Show, featuring Lenny, wherever you listen to podcasts.
WYNG 1410 Dayton. Dayton's ESPN Radio. We're live. We're local.
What are you gonna miss? He struck him out.
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WYNG studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
All right, welcome in. Happy Monday. Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, hanging out with you here, coming out of the weekend, which I hope everyone enjoyed.
It's Wednesday.
Day break.
Today's Wednesday.
It's your Wednesday. When's getaway day? Tomorrow?
No. The getaway is
Wednesday's getaway day, so it's your last day.
Yeah.
Not last day, like just last day, but right? Not it's not your last day.
It's
last day.
No, at least not that I know.
You are handcuffed to this job. By the way, there's a contest I need you to put up. Yeah, so there you go. But again, I hope everyone enjoyed their weekend. And no, I did not think I was going to have to open up the show I'm not in a bad mood, but I am pretty annoyed. I'm annoyed because once again, the second the show starts, that's when it's time to cut the grass outside of this window, apparently. So you'll have to bear with this. That's why. But actually, my mood is kind of getting worse. And we're only 1 minute into the show. What the heck's going on, folks? All right. So the Cincinnati Reds. Remember, 6 games over 500, 48-42, 4 games back of the NL Central, 3.5 back of the wild card. I mean, this was supposed to be a playoff team, right? I mean, I bought in. I believe so. I still think that there's enough there to work with. But everyone likes to get into this the blame game. And I love the blame game. I mean, nothing's ever my fault. It's always everybody else. I mean, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's kind of where I'm at with this. So I don't think I'm overreacting to this. I was told I'm overreacting after one series. It's not just the fact that it's one series. This wasn't the Blue Jays or some random team that the Reds opened up the second half of the season with. This was an opportunity to pick up where they left off, to keep the boot on the throat to the Milwaukee Brewers. And the Reds didn't just lose the series. They didn't lose a game. They lost all 3 games. And it wasn't just that they lost 3 good games. They lost 3 bad games. And it wasn't because of what everyone's lazy excuse is. Oh, the bullpen. The bullpen. Oh, the Reds have a bad bullpen. Stop with the bullpen. We know it's not great. But you want to know who also has a below-average bullpen, Kev? I looked at this. The Houston Astros. They're only dominating their division. The Mets, they're in town. They have a very average bullpen. It's a few. Their ERA is about 1 run less than the Reds on a given night. How about the White Sox? You're familiar with the White Sox. Mm-hmm. Oh, and then you got the Phillies. The Phillies are pretty good. Their bullpen's not great. So please spare me please just spare me the entire bullpen thing. The bullpen is bad. We know that. All right, the bullpen, the idea of the bullpen coming into the season was knowing that it was going to take a hit. But what the Reds ownership was doing was positioning money for the long term, actually not long term, but for the near future of having to negotiate contracts with guys. Castellanos was a guy that they had their eye on after the performance of what he did last season in the 60-game shortened COVID season. And then now all of a sudden you look at what he's done this year, MVP running, all-star starting outfielder for the National League. The Reds have to reposition some money. So, of course, they let some bullpen guys go, and they didn't get a lot back. They could have got some better prospects back. I agree with you on that. But they weren't going to take on bigger contracts because they're reworking some dollars. Oh, but the shortstop, they came into a season without a shortstop. They have one of the top prospects at shortstop in all of baseball making his way up. They kind of debuted him too soon last year, wasn't ready, sent him back down, having a very good year in the minors, very close to being game ready. So the Reds were not going to go sign a long-term shortstop. I know they had kicked the tires on Francisco Lindor, but they weren't ready to just fully commit like that. Why go in that on a very expensive shortstop in Francisco Lindor when you can get a very serviceable shortstop that's in your farm system when you have very good hitting pieces around him? You have Jesse Winker, you have Nick Castellanos, you're supposed to have Eugenio Suarez, right? You have Jonathan India, and when healthy, obviously, we know that Nick Senzel could be a weapon. The Reds looked at this big picture and said, okay, we can't blow our big long-term plans for the short term. I'm not defending ownership, but people are very short-sighted on this. You're not thinking clearly with this. The Reds don't have all these the funds that you could just go need a shortstop. I'll never forget, Kev. I remember when, my very first full-time job out of college, I went from, okay, I could only spend X amount of dollars at the grocery store. I have to be very selective. And then when I got my first full-time job, I couldn't wait to go to the store because I'm throwing Oreos in my basket. I'm getting, not just Dr. Pepper. I want Dr. Pepper and Pepsi. Some days I want a choice, to be honest with you. Oh, and let's do some Gatorades. Got to make sure, coming off the drunken weekend, got to replenish those. You got to replenish. I'm throwing everything in that basket. It was the greatest feeling in the world. But the problem is that's not the Cincinnati Reds. The Reds are not walking through a grocery store, and if they like it, they buy it. Okay? Not everyone could be as, cool as Kenner, right? When it comes to the Oreos and the pop and everything else. That's not the Reds have to be very selective. It would have been foolish, all right, to keep a lot of, to not shave off dollars or whatever, to be able to be in position to sign Castellanos when that time comes at the end of the season. I'm going to leave it at that. Stop blaming the ownership. Ownership's not great. I'm not defending the ownership, but there is reasoning behind some of the decisions that they made and did not make. Let's talk about who's to blame for the Reds coming right out of the gate like this. The ownership is not the problem. How about this? Over the last 30 games, the Cincinnati Reds are 24. Over the last 30 days, they're 24-17. Okay. Over the last 40 days, going back to June. My apologies. Going back to June 1st to now, they are 24-17. Within that stretch, the bullpen has been used more than any other bullpen in baseball. They're not a good bullpen, but 24-17 since June 1st, Kev, and they've used their bullpen more than anybody else in baseball. So while using the worst bullpen in baseball, they are sitting there with 24 wins and 17 losses. So the question I have is why do we keep waving this bullpen flag? It's not a great bullpen. It's not even an average bullpen. On certain days, it's serviceable. But don't get me wrong, the Astros don't have a great bullpen. The Mets, the White Sox, the Phillies, they all don't have great bullpens. And they're right there at the top of their divisions. They're right there fighting for it at the top of their divisions. The Mets are leading it. The Astros are right there. You're familiar with the White Sox, Kev. All of them, not great bullpens. The Reds don't have a great bullpen. So why is it the David Bell lovers out there continue to do and play this little game where they say, when the Reds win, look at everything David Bell's doing with all the deficiencies. And then when the Reds lose, it's damn you management. Damn you front office. Castellini's this, Castellini's that. It doesn't work that way. David Bell cannot only get credit for when the team wins, but then when the team loses, it's on the ownership. It doesn't work that way. That's weird. It's strange. And it's a very weird approach that you Reds fans have taken, compartmentalizing things. In the history of sports, from the day sports are created to now, coaches, managers, they're always held accountable for team performance. And what I saw coming out of the All-Star break was embarrassing, and it shouldn't cost David Bell his job. But to sit there, can we stop with the manager of the year bull crap? Because can we throw that out of the window? That's embarrassing to all former managers of the year. Okay, let's just stop that right now. Because this team was at 48 wins at the All-Star break. They were almost at 50 wins. They were within 4 games of their division. They have 2 outfielders who started for the National League. Let's talk about what this ownership that is so bad has done, okay? Let's look at what this ownership has done, this horrible ownership that is the Castellinis, okay? Not great ownership, but they're not as bad as what everyone's painting them out to be. I mean, they have Sonny Gray. Did Sonny Gray just randomly put on a Reds jersey and just appear here out of outer space? No. Ownership had to bring him here. Trevor Bauer was here for a brief moment, and I'm pretty sure that he didn't just appear here from outer space, that the ownership had to make a trade to get him here. They traded for Luis Castillo. A very good trade, by the way. They didn't give up anything for him. They got, Luis Castillo. Let's see. Oh, Tyler Naquin. That was quite the offseason addition that they made right there, don't you guys think? How about the fact that they signed Nick Castellanos 2 years ago? All right. How about the fact that, they drafted Winker, developed Winker? I think that's all under the Castellini boat. So Votto, they gave him that contract. I know that's a very polarizing discussion. Some love it, some hate it. But the bottom line is the Reds looked at their MVP and said, we got to keep you here. Boom. Here's your $225 million contract, and the rest is history. So stop with this. The ownership doesn't care about this, and that. The ownership with 10 holes to fill has enough money to fill 6 of those. There's always going to be a revolving door of deficiencies that this team is going to have that you're going to look at and blame ownership for. And the reality is you're not going to address every one of them. Because if the bullpen was okay and the shortstop was addressed, you would find something else to complain about with this team. I'm not saying ownership is great, because I got to keep prefacing that, but it's not on the ownership, the team's issues coming out of the break. You want to know what this mess was over the weekend? Because I was disgusted. You get outscored, by the way, 26-10. You lose that series, you get swept at home. That's inexcusable. You want to try to convince me that you are a playoff team, that you are worthy of winning the division. You don't get swept at home. You don't get swept, period, when you are a division-winning potential team. You don't get swept at home, especially to lead things, to kick things off in the second half of the season. You just don't do that. The Reds against the Brewers. This is a humongous series. The fans have finally bought in. They're believing. They're filling up Great American Ballpark. They are excited. You should feed off that. Effort should be there. No mistakes or limited mistakes. What is going on in Cincinnati? They hit 168 combined in the 3 games against the Brewers at home. They struck out 33 times combined at home. 0 stolen bases, picked off once. You had wild pitches. You had base running blunders. You had errors all over the place, fielding errors. It was just like, what in the world is going on? They were simple little things, back-to-back wild pitches that led to back-to-back runs that just piled things on Friday. It is embarrassing what we saw over the weekend. And enough of the, there's still a long way to go. I'm sure that the Reds possibly look at this Mets series and take 2 or 3, and then everyone's going to be like, see, Ken, are you over? No, I'm not going to overreact, because at no point can you trust this type of performance. And adding a bullpen will not get rid of the fact that they just didn't show up for the Brewers. The bullpen wasn't the bullpen was part of the problem, but the bullpen wasn't making errors. The bullpen wasn't hitting 168. The bullpen wasn't striking out left and right. The bullpen, wasn't, not being able to make great plays on the base path. So please tell me how a improved bullpen is going to improve what we just saw coming out of the break. If the Reds want to be treated like one of the top teams in baseball, I'm going to hold them to that standard. And you should as well. Why should you only hold the Reds up to a positive standard when they're winning, but when they're losing, you do the whole, the ownership is bad? That's lazy. That is lazy. Where do the Reds go from here? I don't know. In typical Reds form, because they are a 500 ball club in my estimation, and that was my estimation coming in, that it's going to be a roller coaster ride the rest of the way. I hope that the Reds, right now they're zigging. I'm hoping that they're going to zag tonight and take 2 or 3 from the Mets. I know they're only playing 1 game tonight, but you see my point. But that was inexcusable. It's one thing to lose 2 or 3 to the Brewers. And it's one thing to lose a couple 1-run games, if the bullpen just blew it up. But stop. That was effort. You got shut out yesterday. You got shut out against the Brewers. And you're trying to convince that team that you're going to be nipping at their heels the rest of the way. The fact that you're bragging about how Reds fans are bragging about, but look what we've done against the Brewers all year. Yeah, but it's about what have you done for me lately? When the Reds missed the playoffs by 3 games at the end of the season, are we going to say, but remember they dominated the Brewers all year? Well, that's fine. You missed the playoffs by 3 games. So enjoy your success against the Brewers throughout the year. You don't get swept at home coming out of the All-Star break when you're trying to convince management that you have a contender here, when you're trying to convince a fan base that you are a contender. Stop giving David Bell a pass. Stop giving this team a pass at times. It's okay to be critical. You can be. It's not being negative. It's called being critical. But you sound foolish when you do the fan approach of everything's hunky-dory, rainbows and butterflies, sunshine. Just because it's raining, you can't say, well, at least I got my umbrella. No, sometimes it sucks it's raining. I'm Justin Kinner, Kev Nash, who has yet to speak because Kinner's on a rampage right now, but the Reds disappointed me this past weekend. I could have envisioned them dropping 2 or 3. I could have easily have seen that happening, but to get swept and to be outscored 26-10, to hit 168 as a team, to strike out 33 times, to not have any stolen bases, to be picked off once, to have as many errors as they did, the wild pitches, it was sloppy baseball. That's not on the bullpen. That's just on David Bell's management of this team. Just like, by the way, in basketball, when Ohio State lost to Oral Roberts, we blamed the coach. That's what you do. That's what happens, just like in any other sport. When the team loses in the NFL, you look at the coach. Super Bowl winning head coaches have lost jobs because you're not winning now. Winning it all falls under the head coach's umbrella. It doesn't matter. Stop making excuses for David Bell. They are winning a lot of games, even with the deficiencies, yes. But stop it. Stop it. Stop making excuses. And it's okay to say, this just isn't a bullpen problem. One more time on this. 24-17 since June 1st. The Reds have gone to their bullpen more than any other team in baseball, but yet they have a 24-17 record. So it sounds like the bullpen's not as bad as what we want to make it out to be. We just want to have something to blame whenever things don't go well, instead of looking at David Bell saying, dude, Come on now. You have two all-stars in your lineup. You have one of the best, lineups in baseball. You score a ton of runs. How about we look at that rotation that hasn't been very good? The fact that the bullpen is the worst in baseball, but yet they actually have used it more than anyone else since June 1st. You should be using, if that's your weakness, you use it less. Me and Kev talked about this a while back. With the Steelers, when they had the worst run game in football, it's not like they were leading the league in carries. That would be foolish, right? We're the worst rush team in football, so why do we continue to hand the ball off? Now we got to rely on Big Ben Roethlisberger at his age to drop back and lead the league in pass attempts because that's what gives us the best opportunity to win. But the Reds go to their bullpen more than anybody else. And yet we don't question that. We just say, well, the bullpen's bad. Well, if the bullpen's bad, why do you go to it so much? Maybe it's not the bullpen that's as bad as we think. Maybe it's the starters too. Maybe it's Doug Johnson. Maybe it's David Bell's handling of the pitching staff and, making pitching changes too often. And I haven't even gotten into the Michael Lorenzen thing. I'll let you get a word in. My apologies, but I'm a little fired up.
No, you good. So what do you say to the people that say, like, all right, on Friday before we left, we talked about the strength of schedule left for the Brewers and the Reds. And the Reds have, a easier schedule, so to speak, on paper. You still got the Cubs a billion times, and the Cubs are sellers right now. But in the case of the Brewers, they have teams that are in playoff contention down the stretch of the season. So what do you say to those people that say, like, all right, let's just chalk it up? That's just a bad series. It's kind of like almost how we were talking about before going into the All-Star break, where I posed the question, what would you rather do? Sweep going into the All-Star break or get swept coming out? And we basically got that to happen. So what do you say to those people that say, like, well, look, outside of it's a long season, so see how it goes. What about the strength of schedule? Because we were talking about the ease on paper of the Red schedule going into the weekend and the difficulty of the Brewers schedule going into the weekend.
Well, with the way the Reds played this weekend, that's going to be the outcome against the Pirates and the Cubs if they approach that weekend. Do I envision that the Reds are going to continue to be sloppy like that? But aren't you a little concerned, Kev, is when the high leverage situation that was that series with the Brewers, that brought out the worst in the Reds at home of all places? Like, that's what's strange
Definitely
to me.
The last game is the only one
that showed a little quit, right? Yeah.
That's the one I actually saw. I didn't see Friday or Saturday's game, but I did catch part of Sunday's game, and they get blown out 8-0 at home after already losing the first two games. That's quite alarming. You expect teams to get one in every series. You expect, all right, we're going to get one, but you don't expect to get swept. Getting swept is quite alarming, and get swept like that, getting blanked 8-0. So, if I'm a Reds fan, that's what I'm banking on. I'm banking on the fact that, like, we got a bunch of teams that are sellers left on our schedule throughout the rest of the regular season, while, the Brewers, they have some sellers on their schedule as well, but, they still got games against the Mets and the Dodgers and everything like that. So you hate to have to be in that position. You don't ever want to be in that position as a fan or as a team, to be kind of like rooting for the other team to lose as opposed to just simply handling your business. But that's where the Reds are right now, as they sit 7 games back.
No, they're 7, even worse.
7 games
Things change quickly. 7 games back. I forgot. 4 back and lose 3 straight. Like, that was uncalled for, what we just saw over the weekend. But to your point, Kev, yes, there is the silver lining is, okay, they have the second easiest strength of schedule in all of Major League Baseball for the second half. It is a little brutal coming out of the gate. You had 3 with the Brewers, you have 3 with the Mets, and then of course you have the Cardinals coming up around the corner, and the Cubs I still circle as a team to look out for until they actually unload everything. I think as of now they've only moved on from Jock Peterson, but they still have Chris Bryant. They still have a lot of those cats. So that's the one thing to keep in mind. Look, I am being critical here, which is allowed. You as fans are allowed to be critical too. You know how goofy you sound when you defend the team that just looked the way that they did, hitting 168 as a team, getting swept at home after everyone buying in, heading into the All-Star break. I heard a lot of positive Reds coverage, not nationally, about this team at the break. I was like, maybe this team's onto something. Maybe there's something brewing in Cincinnati. There's a lot of things brewing in Cincinnati, but none of them are at Great American Ballpark. That's the problem. I don't think this team is as bad as what I am reflecting right now in my anger, but it's because the Reds got me to buy in. I think that there's something here. We got to stop doing this weird little thing that we do where when the Reds win with David Bell, it's, oh man, he's winning despite all of these deficiencies. But when they lose, we blame ownership. You can't have it both ways. So when they win, it's not because of ownership. It's only ownership's, handling if they lose. And David Bell, you can't blame him if they lose. You blame ownership. And if they win, it's because of David Bell. That makes zero sense. I mean, David Bell, good for you, buddy, because you found a way to find a dumb fan base that actually believes that. So I'm just saying, like, it's the craziest thing I've ever heard in my life.
Okay, so I got a question for you. So obviously we're a Reds affiliate, we're Reds country and everything like that, but we are not in actual Cincinnati. We're in Dayton, Ohio, obviously. So do you think that it's just the Dayton fans of the Cincinnati Reds, or is this Reds country as a whole? Like, I mean, Cincinnati.
The pulse is being taken off of social media, which is a dangerous thing to do, but we all live on social media, and that's the premise of a lot of things at this point. And look, let's be clear. I haven't even got to the most important thing. Michael Lorenzen. People wanted to blame the ownership for saying that, well, we don't know how aggressive we'll be at the trade deadline because we're going to be getting healthier. Adding Michael Lorenzen to a bullpen that is supposed to be getting Sims back, supposed to be getting Antone back, that has Amir Garrett, that's supposed to be a strong core right there. Okay? And that's not the best bullpen in baseball. It shouldn't be the worst. You know, why aren't we talking about how the fact that the bullpen is bad? How come we're not talking and pointing the finger at Derek Johnson and this Reds, coaching staff for not developing guys? Like, that doesn't make any sense to me. So that frustrates me. But Michael Lorenzen coming back, what does David Bell do? For one, doesn't even use him on Friday night. Had they used him right off the bat, they went to Amir Garrett. Amir Garrett looked solid, and then they take him out and bring somebody else in. Stop doing, like, why can't you let these guys breathe a little bit? Why can't you give them some innings to eat? Like, it's the constant changing, the double switches. It's exhausting as a fan to follow and watch, and I don't care if there's logic and reason to it. You're over-managing at that point, and I think David Bell over-managed the hell out of this Brewers series over the weekend. Michael Lorenzen, Kev, comes in, and then he's out in the outfield. Mm-hmm. This is a team that has 6 outfielders already. 6 outfielders that they don't even know what to do with. 6 outfielders that all deserve to play. And Michael Lorenzen is a pitcher who was supposed to be in the rotation to start the season. Then because the injury's in the bullpen, then David Bell gets cute and puts him out in the outfield. And everyone's like, oh man, he's capable of playing the outfield. And he's not a bad hit. He's not a bad hitter for a pitcher. The dude hits 170 as a pitcher. And we are sitting here acting as if this dude is Shohei Ohtani, who actually is a real baseball player who can hit the ball, who can pitch. David Bell acts like, in the Reds fan base, are so goofy. Oh, we have a Shohei Ohtani as well, and Michael Lorenzen. No, you don't. So then he gets hurt. Why is Michael Lorenzen coming off of the IL, playing in the outfield, Kev, when you have depth in that's one of the few positions on this roster that they actually have a lot of depth at? Why is David Bell playing Michael Lorenzen in the outfield? Why? When we're talking about risk management and injury management, this is David Bell who overmanages to a T, but at this situation gets reckless and sends Michael Lorenzen out into the outfield. You've got to be kidding me. Now he's on the IL. Mm-hmm. Now he's out. And it's like, why? What are we doing here? It doesn't make any sense. And there's so many times where we're lucky we don't go to extra innings because David Bell's blown through the whole bench. They don't have any more options half the time because we've got to make a pitching change in the 5th. We've got to make 65 different position changes out there. And then by the time you get to the end of the game, it's, oh man, we don't have anyone else to pitch or hit. It's embarrassing. It's bad management. Don't care what anyone else says. It's absolutely ridiculous. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash presented by Orion Sports Medicine. The blame game. Is it ownership? Is it David Bell? Why can't it just be everything? It's everything. It's everybody. Everyone gets the blame here. David Bell's not good at his job. Ownership's not great at their job. It's everybody. It's a boring answer, but it's really true. But don't create this little world where, man, David Bell is stepping up against all odds. David Bell, there's a lot of problems on this team that ownership has created. One of them's at manager. Bottom line. Scott Campbell says, I know it was not a good series, but the Reds are still above 5. Oh, here we go with the compartmentalizing. I know it was not a good series, but the Reds are still above 500. Their schedule only gets weaker from here, and the Pirates exposed the Mets this weekend. Let's go Reds. Okay. I'll let you be positive. I'm not going to be positive, but I'll be positive. I'm going to be super critical if the Reds lose tonight. I promise you that much. Justin Nickel on Facebook says management, all on management. John Slayden, shout out to John. He says Bell had several questionable moves in this series over the weekend. Robert Miller on a lot of people chiming in on this Reds series with the Brewers. That was an absolute blunder over the weekend. 7 games back in the NL Central now. Absolutely unacceptable. Robert Miller says Bell has lost control of this team and the clubhouse, and then he ends it with the Roll Tide. So interesting enough. So, And Jake Whiting says, did you hear Nick Senzel can now play shortstop? I think they're going to be trying for everybody. David M on YouTube says, the Reds are who I've thought they are. As I've said every time in here, the bullpen will be their downfall until money's spent to upgrade it. David, the bullpen's part of the problem, but it's not the problem. That wasn't a bullpen issue over the weekend. They got outscored 26-10. Was the bullpen responsible for? I mean, maybe the Reds should have hit against their own bullpen. They couldn't put runs up on the board, and the Brewers aren't dominant at pitching by any means. Two of their top pitchers were used in the All-Star game and weren't even available early on in that series. I know what you're saying. I agree with you that it needs upgraded, but I don't think that upgrading the bullpen is all of a sudden going to change what we saw over the weekend. Just the no energy. How do you come out at this point of the season with all the energy and the buzz around this team and come out flat? It's unacceptable. It's not okay. Nick on Facebook says, you mean like sending Wade Miley to bat with the bases loaded because he used all the players? Exactly. You used your entire bench before you even get to the most crucial point of the game, and you have to let your pitcher hit with the bases loaded because you have no one else to pinch hit. It's embarrassing. Jason Campo, only thing good in Cincinnati is the chili. Well, they have a football team. Oh, no, never mind. Nope, you're right. It's the chili. David also says ownership and Bell are both to blame in their own ways. I mean, ultimately, you can't just say it's all on ownership because David Bell is a product of the ownership. So there's that. All right, it's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Charles Tackett says, told you so with the thumbs down. Charles, refresh my memory. I'm assuming you called out, you assumed that this would be the result of this weekend. Refresh my memory on that, and I'll highlight that on the other side. But more YouTube, more Facebook reaction coming in. What a mess over the weekend. Dropping 2 or 3 is one thing. I could have stomached that. Maybe dropping 3 straight, really close games, and the bullpen blew the save in the 9th inning of every night. I can get on board with what you guys are saying. But when you are, and one more time, outscored 26-10 in 3 games at home, coming out of the All-Star break, refreshed, re-energized after a week off, and you hit 168, you strike out 33 times, you have 0 stolen bases, you're picked off, you have errors all over the place, base running blunders. With all due respect, Reds fans, a better bullpen ain't going to fix any of that mess. And that mess needs to be cleaned up quickly, because that's not on ownership. That's not on no shortstop. That's not on bad bullpens. That's on management. That's on not having this team mentally ready to play. We talk about that with NBA coaches, NFL coaches, college coaches. David Bell, you're not exempt from that. Embarrassing first series of the second half of the season. Who do you blame? We'll discuss next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 86. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 66. And tomorrow will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
For the ones who know that a little late is always too late, and that the clock doesn't stop just because you're missing a part, Grainger offers supplies and solutions for every industry. And our Keep Stock inventory management solutions help ensure you have the right stuff in the right place at exactly the right time. Visit Grainger.com/keepstock to learn more. Grainger, for the ones who get it done.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly. Instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
O'Reilly. Ready for your next road trip? Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts to get everything you need to stay safe while traveling. Visibility on the road is so important and so easy to achieve. Get your windshield streak-free and crystal clear with Blue Magic Glass Cleaner. On sale now, 2 for $5. Stop by O'Reilly Auto Parts today or visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center brings the courthouse to the community with its weekly outreach programs to local churches, libraries, and community centers. We help you navigate the legal system. Find a location near you at courthouse2u.com. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
Credit Karma Money is a brand new checking account where you can win daily instant Karma purchase reimbursements on items up to $5,000. Now, when you make a purchase with Credit Karma Money through July 23rd, you'll automatically be entered to win $1 million. Visit creditkarma.com/winmoney now to open your free account and start winning instant Karma. That's creditkarma.com/winmoney. Instant Karma is sponsored by Credit Karma. No purchase necessary. Exclusions and terms apply. See rule. Banking services provided by MVB Bank, Inc., member FDIC. Maximum balance and transfer limits apply.
How can I make sure my office never stops working?
With Staples Connect, it's possible. I need to keep my back office stocked without messing up my bottom line. Also possible because Staples Connect has your small business covered with big savings on everything you need to get work done. This week, earn 30% back in a Staples store bonus when you buy any 2 ink cartridges, including HP. Explore what's new at your local Staples or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Limit 4, in-store only. Visit staplesconnect.com/store bonus for details and 724.
Step up your career with an MBA from Ohio Dominican University. At Ohio Dominican, you can earn your MBA 100% online in just 16 months. With 7 high-demand concentrations, including data analytics, risk management, and now healthcare administration, an MBA from Ohio Dominican fits your professional goals. It's also one of the most affordable programs in the region. Classes start soon. Get started at ohiodominican.edu/MBA.
Now at Menards, save big money in your next project with 11% off everything. Turtle Wax Hybrid Ceramic Spray is the fastest way to an amazing shine. Just wash your car, spray it on and wipe dry. Get durable protection and superior shine with 11% off all Turtle Wax products. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through July 24th. Savings are mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
Tired of deciding what to cook tonight? Frickers is ready when you are with everyone's favorite ribs and frickin' chicken chunks. Tender baby back ribs and frickin' chicken chunks, only $12.99 dine-in only. Take the day off as kids 10 and under eat free every day. And you can relax and let Frickers take care of everything. Baby back ribs, frickin' chicken chunks, and kids eat free at the one place that makes lunch, dinner, or late night easy. The home for fun, food, sports, and spirits, Frickers.
Baby back. Baby back.
Guys, stop putting your love life on hold. U.S. Pharmacy has some exciting news. If you've been wanting to try Viagra or Cialis, now's the perfect time. Call today and receive 90 little blue or little yellow pills for only $119 with free shipping. Why order some low-dose sildenafil from one of those subscription services when we can give you what you want now? Call 800-990-6271 and we'll rush your order discreetly packaged to your door. Been thinking about trying Viagra or Cialis? Call U.S. Pharmacy at 800-990-6271 for as little as only $119 for 90 pills. Need your package in a hurry? Call 800-990-6271 and ask about our express shipping option, and we'll rush your order to you as soon as possible. Save money on the little blue or yellow pill you've been wanting to try. Again, 800-990-6271 now. That's 800-990-6271.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year. Learn more at discover.com/match. Limitations apply.
There are many ways to catch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. You can catch it live right here on 1410 Wing AM, or you can stream the show at wingam.com. But now we have another way that you can take in the show. You can now watch the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash live on ESPN Dayton's Facebook page. Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. college football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Fire Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Kevin, I'm about to do something I've never thought I would ever do and admit that I was wrong and that Ron Howard was actually right on something.
Whoa.
Ron Howard, shout out to Ron. He says, Bell is a bum, a Dollar Tree manager. That's a little aggressive, but Bell is a bum, a Dollar Tree manager. You get what you pay for. I agree with you get what you pay for, and the Reds are getting what they paid for with that. Joe Girardi wanted the job. They picked David Bell. Just throwing that out there. He goes, I said last week he was the problem, and you corrected me and said he was the same guy who had them winning. And they're probably going to keep winning a lot of games moving forward and losing some bad games. And this will be a one day I'm saying one thing, the next day I'm saying the other as the season kind of moves on. But you're right, Ron. I did say that. I was wrong. I was wrong. They have won a lot of games. But I guess really at the end of the day, this really comes down to my frustration with every time the Reds lose, it's ownership. I'm not debating. I'm not telling you that the ownership's great. But the ownership isn't even the worst in baseball, nor is it even in the bottom 10. Like the ownership, the only reason that you are upset about the Reds falling out of playoff contention as of right now is because of the playoff roster that the ownership put together. Castellanos and Winker were just two of the three starting outfielders for the National League. I believe the ownership had a lot to do with that. Mm-hmm. You have Sonny Gray on this roster. You had Trevor Bauer. You have, Luis Castillo. Wade Miley was a hell of an addition last year that, of course, didn't work out at first because of an injury, but we see how effective he could be. I believe he's here because of that very same ownership. So, I mean, what are you guys talking about? And then every time you guys say how great David Bell is, if you truly believe that, you're actually complimenting ownership for making David Bell the manager. I'm sorry, but if the ownership is bad because they didn't address the bullpen and don't have a good shortstop, I'm sorry, but you can go down the list. There are worse ownerships in baseball. Would you rather be the Pirates? Would you rather be, even though Cleveland has very good weapons, would you rather be that ownership right now who is literally just giving away star after star after star? You have one of the best pitching staffs in baseball. Like, to me, I think what Cleveland is doing is more of malpractice than what the Reds are. It's tough to find a top 10, a top 5 rotation in baseball, and yet Cleveland just decided, we're not going to try and do anything with that. We're going to get rid of our top offensive player. Like, I think that's worse when you actually have a top 5 pitching staff and you just choose not to do anything with it versus, okay, you could score a lot of runs, you have serviceable starting pitching, you have options in the bullpen. Yeah, the ownership's so bad in Cincinnati. They needed to be a little bit more aggressive with the pen, I agree. They needed to probably be a little bit more aggressive with shortstop, although I do understand where they're coming from. They are so close to be calling up Garcia from the minors. They're so close to having him ready that it's like, well, why are we going to go spend big money on a shortstop when our guy that we're priming to be the next big shortstop in Cincinnati is so close to being ready? What do you want them to do there? Now, could they have won out and signed a guy to a 1-year deal? Who are you really going to get out there that's going to be a 1-year deal? I mean, again, I think that they were back and forth. I think they made a mistake on not making a final decision on what they wanted to do. But there you go. I'm not big on blaming ownership for this mess right here, because the only reason the Reds are in a position to break your heart is because of ownership. It's because of ownership. They drafted well. They signed good guys, right? Like the only reason that they are close to even being in this playoff hunt is because of the guys that the ownership put on the field. So when they win, it's because of David Bell, but when it's not ownership, it's only David Bell. But then when they lose, it's all on the front office. I just don't get that. Your team's frustrating as hell because they're the ones, like, Cleveland fans should be more angry and fired up about your ownership than the Reds. When you hear Reds fans complain about their ownership, what do you think? Because I feel like you guys have more of a gripe with your ownership than the Reds fans, who I think are kind of being silly and kind of doofus right now.
I'm in the minority about the Cleveland baseball team ownership, simply because I, as a fan, I realize what they're doing. I know they have windows and they operate in windows, and they've been operating in windows for years. And they do a great job at evaluating talent and developing talent. And it just so happens that talent that they're good at right now is finding pitchers and everything like that. And when they had great pitching and they did make their run, a couple years ago, they did spend big money. And when those arms became very expensive at the same time the bats became expensive, They started letting the arms go one by one. And then when it was time to actually pay the bats, they started letting them go one by one. But to their credit, they had young arms in the bullpen and then young arms coming up from the minors. Like they replaced the guys that went out and got big contracts with. So the dip never happened in the pitching department, but the dip happened in the hitting department.
Mm-hmm.
And that is where they're struggling right now. And if they saw that it was worthy enough for them to make a big run to go ahead and get some bats, they would. Like before, they had 3 lethal pitchers. Now they have 1 lethal pitcher with Shane Bieber, and they got the young guy, Tristan McKenzie, who's good and everything like that. And they got some more serviceable guys, but they only really got 1 lethal guy. So if they had 2 lethal pitchers, or even 3 like they did before, and they were acting like this, I would be open in arms. But they don't. Shane Bieber's really the only one that's a real dog. The rest of them are good and young and good. Now they could become dogs like Shane Bieber one day, but right now they're real good. So I really don't have a problem with what they're doing, to be perfectly honest, because that's just I'm content with what they're doing because I've seen them do it before. And once these young arms blossom and everything like that, probably about two years when there are going to be 3 top level guys during their pitching staff, they'll make a run for it again and they'll spend big money again. It's just as simple as the AL Central is garbage. So when you have the best pitching staff in the AL Central, you'll hang around there and you'll keep goofballs like me content.
Yeah. And the other thing too, I guess the complaint I have about Cleveland is the fact that you had a rotation 1 through 5 that would be any one of those 5 would have been the ace on the Red staff right now. You had all-star position players. They just chose to blow everything up. Like I'll never understand the approach to the complete blow up. Like I at least like when, for instance, I never want to hear that they couldn't move Votto's contract. Like Francisco Lindor got moved. Big names get moved all the time. If you want to move them, you can move them. There will always be teams out there who will absorb that contract if they really want to. And if you're really trying to move on from them, the Reds at least kept Votto as the face of the franchise throughout the rebuild. I'll give them that. Bottom line though is that it's tough to find yourself in a position to have an abundance of talent that you're like, oh man, poor Cleveland. Oh, we have so much talent. I don't know what to do with it all. That's the strangest thing ever. But this Cincinnati approach, these fans, I just don't understand it whatsoever. David M on YouTube says this team lacks a fire in them. They too often look lifeless aside from Castellanos and Winker and Votto. And that's on them first and squarely on Bell. I have to balance this out and be clear. And by the way, Nick says fact check Lorenzen is a career 233 hitter, not one. Oh, I said he was 178. I wrote down that wrong down in my notes, so I apologize, Nick. Thank you for that. I'll admit I'm wrong. It's the only time in life I've ever been wrong. Very weird. So this is what you all feel like being wrong all the time, huh? But no, like this whole thing of blaming the Reds ownership is just crazy. And I'm not even saying it's all on David Bell, but you sound like you sound silly. You should be drug tested if you actually try to convince me that David Bell is doing a great job. And I should be drug tested too last week for actually trying to jump on board and giving David Bell credit. Because after what I saw these last 3 games, I'm sorry, that's embarrassing. Doug Toby, last 3 days, the Red bullpen, 13 innings, 16 runs. Milwaukee, 12 innings, 3 runs. Again, not defending the bullpen. How many errors were created there? How many issues there? Because there was errors all over the place. 16 runs from Milwaukee in 12 innings. Well, that's mainly because as a whole, the team hit 168. The Reds weren't swinging the bat. Milwaukee had 38 hits, Reds 17 hits. Milwaukee 26. Yeah, I know. I talked about all of that. It's embarrassing, isn't it, Doug? That's on the manager. How can you blame Bell? Oh, this is going to get good. Doug Toby, come on. I knew you were kind of goofy for being a Bengals fan, but if you're going to take this approach with the Reds, now this will get interesting. He says, how can you blame Bell for all of that? I could blame Bell for the lack of discipline with this team. They make errors all over the place. They had 0 steals the entire time. They got thrown out on multiple occasions. The constant wild pitches, the strange lackadaisical, constantly looking around at each other like, oh, that was your fault. No, that was your fault. The constant double switches, everything else. You use Michael Lorenzen in the outfield when you already have 6 outfielders on this roster. You had no business even using him in there. He's not even a poor man's Ohtani. He is a poor man's Ohtani. He has no business being in the outfield when you have 6 outfielders. He has no business with a bat in his hand unless he absolutely has to hit because he's in the game. It's ridiculous. Stop bragging about, he's a pretty good hitter. He's a good hitter for a pitcher. And we've all been brainwashed into thinking that 230 is a good average because, well, let's see, our third baseman hits below that. Joey Votto half the time hits below that. Half of our lineup hits below that half the time. And we're just, David Bell keeps throwing him out there. David Bell probably looks at that 230 average, career average of Michael Lorenzen and says, man, he should be our everyday center fielder. He's a poor man's dogs, walkers, poor man's Shohei Ohtani. I don't know what you want me to say here. The trend is 95 for every major league team. Management brings in reclamation project pitchers, and they don't see. This is on David Bell. This series was on David Bell. The season as a whole for deficiencies, I'll give you the ownership thing there because they knew they didn't go after the bullpen very aggressive in the offseason. And shortstop, they knew they were entering it with the hole. That's why they were trying to force Suarez to play there. But do not give me this. David Bell gets so. Answer me this. Riddle me this. So when they win, Doug, it's because of David Bell. But when they lose, it's all on ownership. David Bell has the cushiest job. You Cincinnati fans are very strange, where it's never Zach Taylor's fault when the Bengals lose. It's never David Bell's fault when the Reds lose. Oh my gosh. I don't know. No wonder I like teams from Cleveland and Dallas because everyone has more common sense than Cincinnati fans. This is embarrassing. Don't defend David Bell. David Bell is also a product of bad ownership. They had a chance to get George Girardi and they got the iPad screener. I mean, I have no clue how we're going to sit here and do this. Ron Moreland. Reds have a bum fan support. 90% of the whiners probably have yet to attend 10 games in 2 years. Well, don't want to count last year, but if you do, I see your point.
You can't go there, man. Just because people don't attend games don't mean they don't have invested their time and their hard-earned money.
If the team was worth going to see, they'd be there.
No, that's not fair.
Absolutely.
Some people don't have the financial means to go to baseball games. Some people don't have.
We don't always have to do the poor people.
Some people don't have the financial means. I mean, it is an hour drive to Cincinnati. It costs to go to the game. It costs to park. You got to drive back. People have lives. Just because they don't go to games don't mean they're not invested in the game. They could be listening to it right here on 1410 invested. They could be watching it on TV. So I don't equate that to anything just because people don't go to games. You could be totally invested. When the last time you've been to a Browns game? You're totally invested.
I've never been to a Browns game.
And you're totally invested.
Absolutely.
So you can't.
But I am a horrible fan for not going to a Browns game.
No,
Ron, don't let him talk to you that way.
No, you're not.
Do not let Kev talk to you that way.
And some people don't like going to games. I mean, it's hot as blazes out half the time, especially in the summertime. And then, and especially
3 hours from here. Cincinnati's down the road.
And then, especially like if you want to talk football, we see how it goes down at football games. I mean, we see the fights that happen. Like, I'm not gonna put fans in that perspective. Like, oh man, if you don't go to games, you're not a real fan. No, that's not right.
Nick on Facebook says, you blame Bell for his choices. Friday with the Reds up, he goes to the pen. Now does he to one of his new guys, Lorenzen, or since he goes to, I can't read all this, Nick. I'm sorry. Retype it. I'm not trying to be rude here. I can't follow that. I to try to piece it together. On Friday, there was all this talk about, maybe this is what he's trying to say. Michael Lorenzen, the big talk of Michael Lorenzen was that he was going to be available come Friday. And then they went to Amir Garrett, which I had no problem with, but then they didn't go to Michael Lorenzen at all. And then that's when things unraveled. And it wasn't even with Garrett on the mound. Garrett made things a little interesting, but I'm just saying, I don't even understand the handling of that. What were you waiting for when it came to using that top guy out of the bullpen? Scott Whetstone on Facebook says, I've been saying since the beginning of the season, fire David Bell. The negativity in every part of our team. I'm not for firing David Bell. All I'm saying is stop with this nonsense of, we can't blame the manager. The manager didn't let the bullpen guys go in the offseason. The manager didn't give up the home runs. The manager. But the coach in basketball doesn't shoot the shots and miss the shots, but coaches get fired all the time. All right, the coaches in football, they don't throw the touchdowns or throw the interceptions or drop the passes or whatever, miss the field goal, but coaches get fired for the production of their team. So yes, I don't think I'm that crazy for saying David Bell should be held accountable for when his team craps the bed like they did this past weekend. It's not like they weren't even competitive. You are in a playoff push. You were 4 games out of the division coming out of the All-Star break. You had the division leaders and your home field with everyone, with Michael Lorenzen back. You were ready to go. And they didn't lose because of that bullpen. They lost because of errors. They hit a 168 as a team. Base running blunders left and right. It was an embarrassing effort, and I really hope that that's not going to be the snowball effect moving forward. I hope that doesn't carry over into tonight's game 1 against the Mets. I'm going to be watching tonight with a very critical eye, and I better see a team that has effort, that shows effort. I better see a team that, if you have your natural deficiencies of being, you don't have a great bullpen, fine. But the errors, the wild pitches, the base running blunders, all of that stuff, that's not going to be accepted. That's not acceptable, and you're a fool if you think that it is. I'm sorry. I don't care if I sound like I'm being mean. You're defending a team that gave zero effort this past weekend, and that's all on David Bell. That is all on David Bell. It would be on the head coach in basketball, the head coach in football, pros, college, what have you. It's always on the coach. It's always on the manager. I don't write the rules. I'm just trying to teach them to you. That's all. We'll be back. Oh, what's up?
Yeah, I got something for especially, and I'm going to dig this up next time I have an argument with my pops about the Cleveland baseball team giving up on pitchers and everything like that back when they had their World Series run, everything like that. So the 5 pitchers that Cleveland relied on during that run. Carlos Carrasco, he's now with the Mets. He's still a starter. Bauer, he's suspended for some reasons that we don't need to talk about, but he did win Cy Young and everything like that with the Reds. Clevenger out for the season. Kluber out for the season. Salazar not in the league anymore. Tomlin, a middle reliever. So when you say, or when people say like, oh man, they should have paid those dudes, judging by this, they shouldn't have paid them, because this ain't the first time Clevenger has missed an entire season. This ain't the first time Kluber has missed an entire season. Obviously, Salazar, he was dealing with some other things with cancer and things of that nature. But so, like, just judging by this, if you'd have paid, I don't know, 3 of these dudes, you'll be up the creek right now. So, like, that's what I say. Like, you have windows, and when you're dealing with I don't want to say a small market team like the Cleveland baseball team, but when you're dealing with a team that traditionally doesn't spend money like that, and say they don't have the means, we can go back and forth if they do or don't. But the fact of the matter is they don't spend money like that unless they have their window. This is the evidence that they're going to use. I'm not saying it's right or wrong, but this is the evidence that they use to show their fan base, well, this is why we don't pay them, because this is what just happened. And then they can point to teams like the Tampa Bay Rays or other teams that, they pop up and win a World Series and go away for 5-10 years, then pop up and win a World Series. That's what they're doing. And unfortunately, for my favorite team, they have yet to win the World Series to validate everything. So I'm going to keep this for the next time I'm arguing with my pops, next time I'm arguing with my cousin, because this is factual. This is the information that they're using to tell everybody we ain't paying them because these dudes is hurt and these dudes ain't in the league. And that dude's a middle reliever. And there's only one guy on there that's still a starter in this league. And he ain't even that good.
Yeah, I mean, hell, the Reds were smart too. Guys like Todd Frazier. Todd Frazier, the last great season he had was with the Reds. Jay Bruce, the last great season he had was with the Reds. Brandon Phillips, the last great season he had was with the Reds. The Reds moved on from all of those guys. Not one outside of Johnny Cueto, not one Red ended up having a successful run post Reds playing days. The Reds moved on from them at the right time. I think they could have moved on slightly sooner and could have got better returns, but the Reds knew we're not going to give an extension to Jay Bruce and to Todd Frazier and to a lot of these guys who, I have no issue with that. Stop blaming. This ownership's not great, but they are not bad. They are not Bengals ownership bad. There's so many more examples of bad ownership across professional sports. The Reds don't even come into the conversation. This is just a typical Cincinnati team that, my goodness. You had the 90s run and the Big Red Machine, and since the 90s, this is who they've been. This is actually one of the more entertaining stretches, unfortunately. It just is what it is. I'm just saying. It is what it is. Last thing here, Steve Stetler says, tell us how you really feel. Go Justin. See, Steve's a smart guy. David on YouTube says, any Reds fan actually saying Bell is even a decent manager? They're part of the problem. They will allow ownership to continue lying to the fan base about the future. Ann Anderson, shout out to Ann. This last weekend was their chance to shine, and they blew it big time, and she ends up with Go Dragons. So there you go. All right, good stuff, folks. We'll be back in a moment. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. I'm not happy about this Reds performance to start things off. It could have dropped 2 or 3. I could have forgiven him for that. I could have overlooked that. You got swept, and you got blown out. You got embarrassed on your home field. And you want me to buy in that this team is going to be in it for the long haul whenever things get tough? That was as tough as it can get. But you had them on your home field. And you just absolutely embarrassed yourself. We'll be back.
Listen, stream, watch. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, right here on Dayton's ESPN Radio, 1410 Wing AM.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
Trade Pros. Ferguson is committed to making business with us the easiest part of your day. Ferguson.com is designed to help run your business from the office to the job site by making your day-to-day activities easier with 24/7 account access, unmatched online inventory, and on-the-go account management. And with our Pro Plus customer loyalty program, you can earn points with every online purchase, redeemable for merchandise, event tickets, trips, and more. Sign up today at Ferguson.com.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
My community means everything to me. That's why I joined the Army National Guard. I'm proud of where I'm from, and as a soldier, I get to give back to the people that help me succeed. The training and leadership skills I get from the Army National Guard help me every day when I teach young people and look out for my community. If you'd like to learn how you too can serve part-time with the community you love, visit nationalguard.com.
Sponsored by the Ohio Army National Guard, aired by the Ohio Association of Broadcasters and this station.
Folks, you won't find Old Roy at Homestead Feed and Supply. We carry raw-coated Canidae, a new product. Less in, less out. Best breed, an Ohio company. Blue Buffalo and other premium dog foods. Because you love your dog, Homestead Feed and Supply, 1833 North Dayton Lakeview Road. Tell them the Colonel sent you.
Marcus by Goldman Sachs offers a high-yield savings account with a rate that can earn you 4 times the national average. Banks offer free pens. So what's more important? Savings options to help you make the most of your money, or free pens? You can money. Visit Marcus.com to learn more about saving, borrowing, and investing from Marcus by Goldman Sachs.
Investing involves risk and investments may lose value. Brokerage and investment advisory services by Goldman Sachs & Company, LLC. Member FINRA SIPC. Lending and deposits products provided by Goldman Sachs Bank USA, member FDIC. National averages based on savings account data provided by Informa and accuracy cannot be guaranteed. Learn more at Marcus.com.
I'm CBS News business analyst Jill Schlesinger. I know you think there's only 3 wireless providers. There's AT&T, there's Verizon, there's T-Mobile. But what if I told you H2O Wireless uses the exact same network as one of those carriers? Same towers, same coverage, but costs you half. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O.
Hello, it's John Kozik, founder and president of TurboTrack Realty, and I buy houses as is, fast for cash. Call me today for an all-cash offer on any of your properties, and we can close within days at 614-362-2000, 362-2000. Do you own a property that's outdated and needs thousands of dollars in repairs? Great, I'll buy it. I'm a private real estate investor who can solve your real estate problems fast for cash. Do you want to sell and just be done with it? Okay, great. I buy vacant properties, boarded up houses, pre-foreclosures, and inherited properties. I also buy apartment buildings, rental portfolios, divorce homes. I even buy my tenant won't pay me the rent houses. I look forward to solving your real estate problems today. Give me a call for an all-cash offer at 614-362-2000, 614-362-2000.
It's time for some straight talk. We've all been there.
You have some real work to do, but the free Wi-Fi where you're working isn't going to cut it. It's like leaving the winning runner stranded on third base. Not good. Well, now you can be your own hotspot with Straight Talk's Ultimate Unlimited plan. Get 10 gigs of hotspot data for just $55 a month. All on America's largest, most dependable networks. Straight Talk Wireless. No contract, no compromise. Compatible device required. See straighttalk.com.
Goodyear believes in the power of moving forward. No matter if it's on the track, the court, or the field, movement makes us want to be more. It pushes us to go further, to show the world what we can do. Movement has the unique ability to change our perspective, to challenge us, to work for a better tomorrow. Movement can even bring us together when we're still. Because if we're focused on the next move, we don't have to worry about what's behind us. Goodyear, more driven.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for the best venue for your upcoming event or party? Check out our VIP suite at Polking Lane South. It's a unique, state-of-the-art VIP 8-lane luxury suite. It's not too soon to book your holiday party. Call today and let the good times roll. Let us book your holiday event at any of our centers. Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, or Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive. Ho, ho, ho.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. That's not just a better deal. It's America's best. Book your exam online today.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER. And ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle.
Hi, Tom Bodette for Motel 6, leaving the light on for the homebody, who now would rather be an anywhere but homebody after spending 12 months stuck at home with nobody but themselves. Well, Motel 6 has plenty of clean, comfortable rooms, all at a great low rate. So when you decide to visit somebody, anybody, anywhere else but your home, Motel 6 will be waiting. I'm Tom Bodette for Motel 6, and we'll leave the light on for you.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
This is a big deal. Now, at healthcare.gov, millions more people can afford health coverage. Due to the COVID relief law, 4 out of 5 customers can get a plan for under $10 a month with financial help. From doctor visits to preventive services to prescription drugs, these are quality plans. You can do this. You can have coverage as soon as August 1st if you sign up now at healthcare.gov. Paid for by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Hi, this is Sales Manager Jason High of Germain Honda Beaver Creek, personally inviting you to take advantage of the 0% financing on the Honda HR-V, Passport, and Pilot. Germain Honda has over 200 new Hondas to choose from, including the redesigned 2021 Honda Ridgeline and the 2022 Honda Odyssey, plus over 30 of the brand new 2022 Honda Civics to choose from. Now that's a selection no one else in the region can claim. Route 35 just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek. Germain Honda Beaver Creek, the right car, the right price, the right way.
Hey, here to tell you about my friends at Cordell Transportation. They're now hiring Class A CDL drivers and offering a $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, home daily, dedicated lanes, and no-touch freight. Brand new equipment as well, medical, dental, vision, and company-paid life insurance. Call Cody right now. Apply online at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Don't overpay for glasses. Get 2 pairs and a free exam for just $69.95. That's not just a better deal. It's America's best. Book your exam online today.
He's a former Buckeyes great and now a college football Hall of Famer. And don't forget about his 13 years of NFL experience playing for the Eagles, Dolphins, Jets, and the New England Patriots. He's Dayton's own Keith Byers. Hang out with him every Monday at noon on the Keith Byers Show, presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com. We're live. We're local. We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
Hour 2 of the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Happy Monday. You a big wrestling fan? Old John Cena made his return last night.
I saw him running down the alley or whatever you guys call it.
The alley?
What do they call that?
That's the aisle. They're walking down the ramp. The entrance ramp.
No disrespect.
That's very disrespectful.
I didn't mean any disrespect.
That's John freaking Cena you're disrespecting.
I respect
right
that man.
There. It's gonna be John Cena against Roman Reigns at SummerSlam.
You going?
Actually, I do have tickets for that.
Look at you. When is that?
That is coming up at the end of August.
Oh, look at you. You and Smooth going again? Didn't y'all go to the event?
No, we didn't go. When they're in Dayton, we always go.
Oh, okay.
But yeah, John Cena. It was
He's
pretty
an
cool.
actor now, man. He's going to be in the new Suicide Squad movie.
It's wrestling. They're all actors.
He was in Transformers, Bumblebee. He was in Fast and Furious, man. Making moves, man.
No, see, and I don't watch him in movies. Like I said, I don't. All that's acting, and that's all fake and stuff. That's why I like him in wrestling. Punches are real, baby. So yeah, no kidding.
The stomp.
You know, I mean, that was cool last night. There's a video making its rounds. You know, they tell you at the wrestling events, if you get caught recording any of the stuff, the security guards will kick you out.
Really?
So there's one security guard. Yeah, you can't record anything and post it to YouTube or anything. So this one little kid was recording John Cena coming out, and his eyes were all big, and he couldn't wait. And the security guard came to escort the family away for breaking the rule. And Linda McMahon, the wife of Vince McMahon, stopped the entire thing. I thought it was a pretty cool little thing.
Yeah, I mean, you would figure like stuff like
Leave
that.
the damn kid alone.
Social media only helps your sport grow, man. Social media, people need to embrace it.
But rules are rules.
Oh yeah,
put that damn phone away.
Rules.
Yeah.
5-year-old, get out.
I mean, but see, that's the thing. Those are the rules set by the McMahons. So when Linda McMahon said he's fine, then it's fine. It's not a problem. He's not breaking the rule from that point on. The second Linda McMahon said it was fine, it was fine.
No,
but if she wouldn't have said it's fine, get that little kid out of there.
Goodness gracious. It's a child.
Oh, give him a cigarette.
Smoke up.
Give him a cigarette. Let him drink. Let him drive on the way home. Let him drink and drive and smoke on the way home. I'm just saying, a little beer in the left hand, cig hanging out the mouth with your right hand while you're leaned back driving on the way home. 6-year-old.
Driving with.
Why not? Rules are, I mean, what are you going to say? Rules are rules like we're mocking. I mean, rules suck. Who cares? Don't follow them then. Anyways. So that first hour was just dedicated to beating up on the Cincinnati Reds, which is a super cool thing to do when you are a Cincinnati Reds affiliate. So make sure tonight, 6:40 the pregame, 7:10 the first pitch, Reds baseball right here on 1410 Wing AM. I've never bought into that whole ordeal. Oh man, because someone did say, oh yeah, beating up on the Reds. I'm sure the Reds love one of their affiliates doing that. I'm like, first of all, I've never understood that mindset that because you're a Reds affiliate, like you can't be critical of the team. Like, I mean, Mo Egger's critical of the team. I hear Mo all the time be critical of the team. Now he does it in a less aggressive way, but that's his way. I don't have a problem, but I at least give credit to guys and hosts and markets, and that's the flagships. That's even more important. I mean, there's probably even more stress on those guys in Cincinnati, the flagship station is 700, to be a little bit, to walk on eggshells a little bit more. But I don't like this. The one thing about this industry I can't stand is that when you are a flagship station or an affiliate, that you could only say positive things. I will quit before I am told that I have to only say nice things about people. No, I'm just joking. But about organizations who lose. I mean, my thing is this, and I say this about college athletes all the time. I hate when people say, these are kids, you can't boo them. I'm like, if you could cheer them, if you could praise them, you could boo them. These kids were being booed when they were in 7th grade. All right. I'm not all for the name calling and the racist comments being thrown their way and having trash thrown at them. I'm not saying that. All I'm saying is man, little Brian over there, he was horrible last night. He took 10 threes and missed all. Oh, that's a high school kid. You cannot. Why can't I? Why? I didn't say that no one should hang out with him. Don't invite him to. He's banned from prom. That's a high school level. You know what I'm saying? My point is, I hate when people say, "Oh, you're an affiliate. You can't be critical of the," as if you, the fan, listening to the Reds on our affiliate, don't sit there and think, yeah, this Reds team kind of can be ass sometimes. Like, I like, you don't say that. So bottom line is we just try to keep it real. That's all. And right now, that was an embarrassing 3-game performance. However, the previous 4 games was like an out-of-body experience watching Reds succeed the way they did heading into the All-Star break. That was fun. That was cool. They led me on. I got into it. I was excited. I was miserable the All-Star week because I'm like, there's no Reds baseball. And when you really look forward to something like in a movie, when you're really looking forward to a movie and you can't wait to go to that movie, and the movie it's just a dud, and you're like, man, I waited all summer to watch that. I couldn't sleep last night because I couldn't wait to get to that. And then it disappoints you. You're ticked off when you leave the movie theater. That's how I feel about the Reds. I'm sure I said a lot of things that I'll take back later, but for right now, that's my natural reaction to what I just saw. And what I can't relate to is anyone saying, oh, it's fine. It's just a 3-game stretch of a 162-game season. That's weird to me because there was so much on the line in this series that to see them come out flat with no energy. They got hit 3 times or 4 times and the Reds never retaliated. Like, that's weird to me. I don't want it to turn into a brawl, Kev, where you have balls being thrown at people's heads and stuff, but show a little emotion. Show some passion, show some excitement. That's where I'm having a hard time. Like, imagine in basketball, or let's say football, the Bengals have a chance to maybe, at the 8 game, at the halfway point of the season, a chance to beat, someone to go to 500 and take momentum into the second half, and they come out and get shut out. Don't you think Bengals fans would be a little upset? I would be upset if my team did that. That's all. That's what I'm trying to say. It was just the effort, the energy. It was flat. I don't know how you come out with no energy and flat energy at Great American Ballpark when the fans showed out. The fans did their part.
How much of it was all-star rust? Because we talked about that before, wanting to stay on the field of play and the all-star break coming at the wrong time. Like, you're in the middle of playing some real good baseball. You just want to keep on playing ball. How much do you think is rusted the way that they played in the series?
If I didn't just watch a Milwaukee Brewers team come out of the All-Star break without rust, again, the Brewers are who you're chasing. And if you're trying to convince me as a consumer that you are them or as good as them or better than them, I don't give the Reds the excuse of rust, because the team that you're trying to convince me that you are an equal to, they didn't have rust. So why do you have rust? You know what I'm saying? Like, and I get it. Every team is different, but at the same time, it's not. Like, we talk all the time about being champion, being tough to a championship, composure and everything. NBA Finals, we'll talk about that around the corner. How we talked about how, the Suns, they were 2-0 lead, give it to them. I called it 3 straight wins for the Bucks, by the way. I'm just saying. I just want to be able to hold on.
Did you? I thought you called the Suns to win at home.
No. I said that the Bucks would win games 3 and 4. They would use that momentum to steal a game at game 5 on the road. And then the Suns, with their backs against the wall, would get a huge win at Milwaukee. Both teams get road wins to 4. I called game 7. Just so you know. Don't take that from me.
I hope you're right. I hope we get a game.
I was right. It's 3-2 right now. Bucks lead. No.
Well, I hope you continue to be right. I need a game 7 in my life.
But in all seriousness, the point is like in these big game situations, like Chris Paul and these guys, how do you come out flat? How do you come out with the bad stat line? How do you come out so they're held to that standard? Chris Paul's been the face of every talk show this week. Oh, man, what's wrong with Chris Paul? Man, he's choking under pressure, blah, 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 blah. Is that right to do that to him? No, but that doesn't change the fact that that's the norm in sports media. So here we are. So why can we do that in other sports, but when we do it for the Reds, it's, oh, come on. You're being too critical. You're being too this. Give me a break. Give me a break.
So what's the cutoff? Where's the cutoff? Where is it just a game and people learning how to play the game of basketball or whatever sport to where it turns into you suck if you don't accomplish the goal? Where's the turn? Where's the cutoff? What age group? What grade?
I think it all comes. The more you praise, the more you raise that bar. Sometimes we raise it to a point to where it's almost impossible to reach that bar to where we think anything less is a failure.
Right.
So, for instance, if you go to a Horizon League school, do you know how hard it is to make it to D1 college basketball? But we are told, oh yeah, he's committed to go to a Horizon League school, but this kid over here, he has Big Ten offers. Mm-hmm. So what do we do right away? Oh, he's just a Horizon League offer, right? Like we do that all the time, and it's ridiculous, but that's the reality of it. So in this situation, it's, oh man, Chris Paul, one of the greatest of all time. Well, now we got to hold him to the greatest of all time standards. Did Magic Johnson ever look like this in any of those finals of games and all that stuff? Yes, but he got criticized as well. Yes. So if he could be criticized, Chris Paul could be criticized. That's what I'm trying to say. Baseball is the weirdest sport where fans get Bengals fans are pretty sensitive about their football team. Maybe it's a Cincinnati thing more than anything else. I don't know. All I'm saying is I'm getting annoyed with those who keep passing the buck and saying, oh, it's a long season. It's a long season. Well, eventually you're going to run out of months and days and seconds and hours and games to say, oh, it's a long season. Right. So what happens if the Reds miss the playoffs this year? It's another year of no playoffs for David. Well, David Bell technically made the playoffs last year, but even last year in the playoffs, everyone was so ticked off at him because, again, the team didn't show up. You didn't swing the bats, couldn't score runs. I mean, it was bad. Trevor Bauer did his part. He did his part. So, where am I at with this? Brian McCoy, I want to give him a shout out. He says, stop throwing dirt on the grave. Lots of games left. There's the lots of games left line. Brian says, I believe it wasn't too long ago they lost 7-10 or 10-12. And oh my God, all gloom and doomers came out of the woodwork. Yeah. That was me. I was leading with the pitchfork, Brian. Manager sucks. The owner sucks. The bullpen sucks. Joey is washed up, blah, blah, blah. Did you steal my rundown? Word for word. Then battle back 4 games out. Now back to all the naysayers, back to the Reds suck, and the season is over. You're right. And they can go on another run, and we'll be right. I'll be right back on the bandwagon and all that. But if that happens, my mood and opinion will change. That's what fans also don't understand about, like, when you win, you say nice things about them. When they lose, you say bad things about them. You know how you keep Kenner quiet, keep winning. Now, remember Friday, I was like, I'm kind of bored being all nice about the Reds. They're playing such great baseball. Now Monday, I'm right back to my old antics, and it's not my fault. Don't blame me, listeners. Blame the Reds. If they win, you don't have to hear all this negativity, or as I like to call it, being real. I don't mean to. Should I not keep it real with y'all anymore? Should I just tell you that, man, they looked really good. They almost, if the game would have ended in the 5th inning, the Reds would have been 3-0 in that series. What do you want me to say? Man, Doug Toby. So whose fault is it that they're not bringing up Nick Lodolo or Hunter Green, who threw at 31 pitches in one game this year over 100 miles an hour? It's sure not David Bell's decision, management, and money. What does that have to do with anything? For one, we are talking about a team that is borderline 500 at the end of the season at this point, who, if they make the playoffs, they'll be winning a bad division. We talked about it. The Reds won like 100 or close to 100 games back in 2012, and they were 3rd in the division. They won 90 games in 2013. You won 90 and 3rd in the division because the NL Central is always so high. They won 98 games in 2012. It took 98 wins to win that division, but you also had 3 teams make the playoffs out of the NL Central that year. This is a tough division. So what are you talking about? This division is not good this year. So you're asking a team to go all out? You want them to give up the farm to go all out to win this year? You know what I'm saying? Like you talked about it earlier, being disciplined, getting it, being ahead of it.
Yep.
I think that this season we can look back after all the bashing of the ownership and say, hey, I'm actually kind of glad that they didn't give up a ton of money to go get a shortstop in Francisco Lindor, because this Garcia kid that's coming up through the minors, he's actually really, really good. And he's being paid rookie money. You know, Shohei Ohtani's making $3 million. He was the face of the All-Star game.
Right.
He was making $3 million because newer, rookie player released in his first contract to Major League Baseball, yada, yada, yada. So that's my point about all this is the ownership, I think, has a plan. It just meant, do we veer off from that plan to try to win in 2021, or do we stick to our plan where we're still going to have, we're still going to have Luis Castillo moving forward. You have Sonny Gray for another year. You're still going to have Wade Miley. You're going to go after and try to keep Wade Miley, who has success here. You're going to be able to add some arms to that rotation with the Nick Lodolo and, of course, Hunter Green, and you're going to be able to improve that bullpen. Why veer off from the big picture to try to win now when you're winning now? That's the other thing that people are forgetting. We're talking about this team as if they're winning now, but they're not. I'm talking in the sense of where we are at right now. This team, they choked this past weekend. They choked, and it wasn't because of the bullpen. It was effort. They didn't have the effort. Hold on. Scott Campbell says David Bell would not have 2019 David Bell would not have put up with 2021 David Bell this past weekend or being hit 3 times. Chris Harold on Facebook says, here's a couple questions for you about the Reds in the second half. Which player is trending up and which player is trending down? Jesse Winker is trending down big time. As far as player trending up, that's a good one. I got to think about that one.
Yeah, I'll have to think about that as well.
Because the Reds were kind of peaking heading into the All-Star break. Everyone was clicking on all cylinders. Chris, your question about who's trending down, that's easy. Jesse Winker's trending down. Trending up, I can't say. I mean, Jonathan India has been great all year, so I don't think he's not trending down. So Jonathan India is fine. Castillo, when healthy, is MVP candidate. Votto, he was even hot heading into the All-Star break. I mean, I don't know about trending up. I guess Luis Castillo, but he's been dominant since, June and July. He's been dominant now for a month and a half. So I can't say he's trending up because he's been up, if that makes sense. I wish it was Amir Garrett. Man, who is trending up right now? I don't think they have a player trending up, Chris, and that's my concern. And that's now you raise another concern of mine to the table. So there's that. As if I needed more.
Thanks.
Chris, how would you answer that, Chris? And I feel like I'm missing an obvious trending up. No one's coming to mind.
There's nothing jumping to my mind.
Not after that series, especially. Chris, answer that for me. Who's trending up in your opinion that you would answer that? But trending down is definitely Jesse Winker. He responded with, I wish it was Suarez. We all wish it was Suarez. I definitely wish it was Suarez. Jeff McPherron on Facebook says they are a 500 team, period, 2 steps forward, 3 steps back, and have been since Bell got there. Getting more text messages from friends saying, lighten up. They took 3 of 4 from the Brewers at Milwaukee before the All-Star break. Okay, but if you shrink that, if you expand it to they just played the Brewers 7 straight times, you lost that series 3-4. You took 3 of 4 from the Brewers heading into the All-Star break, but then you just got swept coming out. You lost the series. So, if you basically went to Game 7 and lost, like what the Suns are going to do against the Bucks. All right, save me from this segment. I'm done. I'm being too negative, I feel. So,
you feel that way.
And David M on YouTube says All-Star rust is never an excuse for teams that are actually good. Interesting approach, especially when they're like. I know they've been hit by injuries, but they were winning with what they had, and what they had is what they had coming out. Nick Castellanos going out, being hit in the hand, that did tick me off. I think that, but that's the thing. If you're so dependent, and that's why Nick Castellanos, if he comes back and they start winning again, he has to be in the finalist of the MVP discussion, because when that guy got taken out of the lineup, it's like the whole lineup forgot how to hit. They all disappeared. 10 runs in 3 games, being outscored 26-10, hitting 168 as a team. I mean, Nick Castellanos is more important than just his numbers. It's the energy he brings to that lineup, because they looked lifeless offensively. Nick Castellanos is so damn important for this team. I haven't seen the lineup. Folks, is the lineup out? I'll look for it during this break, but I'm just curious. Is he back tonight? I haven't heard any reports on his timetable for being back. All right, we'll hit the reset button. We'll come back. Kev Nash will bring us a little over-under. We'll also dive into some of these. Again, I enjoyed these last week. The what's more likely to happen. We'll get to some of those on the other side as well. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. I just got this from David. He says Castellanos is out again. That could be a concern. The Reds did avoid DeGrom, though, so that's good. More of the Justin Kinner Show next.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 86. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 66. And tomorrow will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Propane, making buying propane easy since 1952, offering budget billing and pre-buy options. Find out more at culletpropane.com.
What makes the perfect workout? Being able to ride, lift, and stretch in one place with motivating instructors.
Y'all look so good out there, Peloton.
Classes that always work around your busy summer schedule.
Push, Peloton. You got 20 minutes of opportunity on this ride.
Instructor-curated playlists for every mood.
Let's turn it up. Come on.
Now what if you had it all? Right at home. The Peloton Bike. Nothing like working out from home. Visit onepeloton.com to learn more.
Heard you're buying a car. I brought my calculator.
Dad, I already used Capital One Auto Navigator. I found my car online and got pre-qualified instantly, instead of all that.
You know those things impact your credit score.
Didn't impact my credit score, Dad. Now I'm going to the dealership for a test drive and to make the purchase.
Sounds too easy.
No, it's just easy. Capital One, what's in your wallet?
Terms and conditions apply. Find out more at CapitalOne.com/Auto Navigator.
The moment you fire up a Gator UTV, the engine has your full attention. The completed job is on the horizon, and the trail meets its match. Just like that, you made short work of a long to-do list. Run with us on a John Deere Gator UTV. With effortless four-wheel drive at the flip of a switch and our smoothest shifting transmission yet. Nothing runs like a Deere. Search John Deere Gator for more.
Business is built on connections. And with Square, you can connect every side of your business with tools that all work together. From your customers and your sales to your staff and your schedules, everything is in sync. So you can get a head start on shaping what's to come. See how Square can help connect every side of your business by visiting square.com/go/connect. That's square.com/go/connect.
How hard can it be to find a Python pro?
Sam's startup had a front-end developer walk out the back door. He needs a new software engineer, stat.
What do you mean they just quit? We go live in 72 hours.
Indeed can help him hire great people fast.
I need Indeed.
Indeed you do. With Indeed Instant Match, we immediately show you quality candidates whose resumes on Indeed meet your sponsored job description. Visit Indeed.com/credit and get $75 towards your first sponsored job. Terms and conditions apply.
You shouldn't have to camp out at a burger joint to get an internet connection. You shouldn't have to buy a coffee or fries to be able to do remote learning, job interviews, and online doctor visits. So the federal government is providing a temporary discount of up to $50 a month for eligible households on internet service at home. To find out if you qualify and to sign up, go to getemergencybroadband.org. Sponsored by Heartland Forward in cooperation with the OAB and this station.
Attention Class A CDL drivers. Looking to be more than just a number? Yoel Transportation in Dayton is looking for drivers with at least 1.5 years experience. Yoel has open positions for no-tarp flatbed drivers and no-touch regional or local van drivers. Yoel is ELD compliant and offers 401k with match, medical, dental, vision, holiday pay, vacation, safety bonuses, and now has a rider policy. Call Rick or Joe at 937-294-5933 and ask about the $5,000 sign-on bonus today.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
O'Reilly. When you need auto parts, O'ReillyAuto.com is just a few clicks away. We offer convenient options for you to get your parts quickly. Order online and pick up for free at your local O'Reilly Auto Parts store. We'll even bring it out curbside. Or you can have your parts delivered right to your door with free shipping on most orders over $35. Visit O'ReillyAuto.com.
O'Reilly Auto Parts.
What if I told you you could save 50% off your monthly cell phone bill without sacrificing your service? This is Jill Schlesinger, CBS News business analyst, and I'm talking about H2O Wireless. If you're with AT&T, Verizon, T-Mobile, you're just paying too much. Listen to this. You can get unlimited talk, text, and 15 gigs of data for just $36 a month. That means the average person is probably saving $400 a year. You might use that to fund your emergency reserve fund or pay down some credit card bills or put some money in your retirement plan. And switching is so easy. You can keep your phone, keep your number. You just have to swap out your SIM card. You get the same great service you currently have, but at half the price. Right now, you can save 50% off your first month when you dial pound 250 and say keyword get H2O. That's pound 250 and say keyword get H2O to start saving today.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
With the Cincinnati Enquirer, Bobby Nightingale covers the Cincinnati Reds. He tweets out about an hour ago that Nick Castellanos is playing catch before the game, that he is not in the lineup, but David Bell said he could be available off the bench. My only thing is, if you're available off the bench, why not just start him? I don't get that. You're playing catch before the game. You're available to bat, everything that night. Like, you're available, you're not. This isn't basketball where you have a leg injury and you're trying to kind of ease them into getting up and down the court. Like, why? It's not that big a deal, I guess. I'm just, what are you doing by not starting him versus bringing him off the bench tonight? I'll never understand that, I guess. But it's all right. We just have to wait till the third inning when he makes a pitching change and he'll be back in the game. What?
You are on not a level 10, definitely not a level 10.
I just don't like
8.5.
I just don't like buying in and being
swindled.
got. I feel got.
Gotcha.
Now they could win tonight, and then I'll take the egg on my face tomorrow. But again, then they'll lose the next day, and then I'll be right back to this. So, but that's the fun of a 500 season. So I did tweet out.
Don't sound like you having fun today.
I did tweet out over the weekend that, a huge thank you to the Reds for staying interesting at least through, July 15th. And yeah, usually we're done by the end of April. So it was kind of fun having a little bit extra content throughout the summer. And there's going to be a lot of Reds content moving forward. Like, they're going to win series that make them look great. They're going to lose bad series like they did over the weekend. But as the time is, crunch times, the pressure is going to mount. And I think that's going to be really what's interesting is how does the pressure, how does this team respond? Will it crack them? That's going to be the big thing. So according to Navigate, this was a graphic that was put out, Kev, about the impact of total revenue loss during COVID for professional sports. The NBA, wow. I talk the way David Bell manages all over the place. The percent of total revenue lost, the NBA lost 13%. Total revenue loss, they lost $1.2 billion. The NHL lost $690 million. Major League Baseball lost $6.2 billion. They lost more money than any other sport out there. The NFL lost $5.5 billion in total revenue lost. Now, here's how the tickets, the ticket sales impacted the professional sports across the board. The NBA lost $836 million. It's funny I say that like that's all they lost, because the numbers get interesting moving forward. Now, the NHL lost $565 million. But so the NBA, the gate-related revenue loss was $836 million. The Major League Baseball was $4.9 billion. The NFL lost $5.5 billion at the gate.
Well, that's because the entire season of baseball and NFL was played during COVID. Most of the NBA season was already over with.
That is true, because they were already past the All-Star game.
Yeah, they were gearing up for the
playoffs.
They had like 2 weeks before the playoffs started.
So
they shut down. Well, no. There was March, so they had
they were down to the final month and a half. It was
6 weeks before the playoffs started.
So, and then now the broadcast related revenue loss, the NBA lost $370 million. Again, there's smaller across the board, just because of the fact that you're right, they got more than half of their season in. Now the NHL lost $125 million due to broadcast related revenue loss, but their season was also well underway. They also did a bubble type. They did a multi-city bubble for their postseason. Now Major League Baseball lost $1.3 billion in broadcast related revenue loss, which I guess you lost 100 games. That makes sense. 100 games times 30. Yeah, that would make sense. Cause I was like, well, how, when they aired every game, but it's because it was a shortened 60 game season. The NFL lost no money in broadcast related revenue losses, because everything was on schedule. The draft was on schedule. The preseason, everything across the board. They were fine. So interestingly enough. So, but yeah, I found that to be kind of interesting coming out. Other news too. We talked about name, image, and likeness recently. Michigan Athletics official retail store partners with players to sell jerseys with the names on the back. This one's an easy one. I would expect Ohio State and others to slap the names of these players on the backs of these jerseys, sell them. They get a cut. The players get a cut. Why not? Now, will the unknown players make a lot of money off this? Probably not, but that's no different than in the NFL and professional sports across the board. So I think that this should just be a given across the board. Good for Michigan for doing this, but I think it would make sense for all programs to do this. Why would you not try to monetize the name of that athlete at the same time of allowing that athlete to monetize their name as well? Do you see this as a norm across the board?
Absolutely. And all those like mom and pop screening jersey places around town, you know what I'm saying? That's a perfect opportunity. Every school has they have their team shop, the official one, but then they have the other one that's located near the campus that designs all the cool shirts and other things of that nature. Like I'm a Syracuse basketball fan. They have Manny's. Manny's is like the place where they get all the real cool ones, where they have the stock ones from the bookstore, campus store, and everything like that. And for lack of a better analogy, Homage. I don't see why Homage hasn't jumped all over this. Like, I think Homage will be the perfect, for people that don't know, Homage is a t-shirt
that's
company based out of Columbus.
Right here. Look at this free promotion for them right there.
And I don't understand. I thought they would be the first ones all over this. I mean, they have tons of partnerships with former athletes, not just Ohio State athletes, but athletes from all across the country that have
Obi Toppin, Scoochie. Scoochie Smith had a shirt for a while. Obi Toppin did. Like, they have a lot of actually Dayton Flyers stuff. Again, more promotion for a Homage. Get a deal done with them.
But I mean, I don't understand why they haven't jumped all over that yet. I thought it would be a perfect match. I mean, they're right there in Columbus. So, it's definitely opportunities out there for those shops and the players.
Yeah. And like, imagine the Obi Toppin. And by the way, I think it would be huge here in Dayton if you go to the fan store there. And I have no clue. I'm going to reach out and find out if there's any plans like that to sell the actual individual jerseys of the players and how that would impact them. Those are good. Those are things that, like, well, there's a lot of programs out there who are trying to button up and make sure they keep as much as their money as possible. I don't know why. We're talking about how outside businesses are going to try and help make money off of this. I think schools can make even more money off these jerseys by putting the names on the back. Imagine that Obi Toppin year. Ooh, imagine the Obi Toppin jerseys all around. I mean, I was at the mall 2 weeks ago. I was at the Buckeye store there, and it's the Buckeye store. It's all Buckeyes. And I look over, and there's a whole rack of nothing but Obi Toppin jerseys. And a buddy of mine that's the manager there, I said, that's random. That's, UD stuff here. And this Buckeye story goes, oh no, those move like hotcakes. That's a weird old man little thing I just said.
You do get into that a lot. You said sharp one day. He was looking sharp.
Yep, looking sharp. I said out yonder the other day, and I'm like, kick me in the head right now. What is wrong with me? I'm gonna
out yonder.
Gotta get my Metamucil. I gotta go out and yeah. But no, I found that interesting. Oh God,
the Metamucil for real? We going there?
I mean, little blue pill. I mean, we could down all the old man things, whatever.
We're open for sponsorships.
In the brave new world of name, image, and likeness sponsorships, a Texas A&M fan site, probably the Texas A&M's equivalent of, I don't want to say buck nuts and these some. Well, is it the equivalent to that? Either way, it's a Texas A&M fan site has struck a deal to pay 2 Aggies football players $10,000 each for exclusive feature interviews ahead of the SEC media days. Now, I find this very interesting because it goes on to say that, so it's Isaiah Spiller and Damani Richardson, the safety. So each will be featured on TexasAgs.com as part of a deal with a local company, Greenprint Real Estate Group. So it's kind of basically those, what that Texas A&M website or whatever, they got to sponsor the Greenprint Real Estate Group to kind of cover the hard costs for it. So then traffic's going there, but it's also their branding on it and everything like that. It says that this deal is one of the first announced that will pay players for media access, which is allowed since the new name, image, and likeness rules were instituted on July 1st. So what does that mean? So some media outlets, I think it's credentialed media outlets are not allowed to pay for interviews.
Right.
These guys aren't credentialed.
Right.
They're in the stands watching like the rest of us.
Yeah. Fan site.
It's a fan site.
So if
basically it's message boards. That's what message boards are. They are fan sites. They're killing them on the boards.
The boards part is the fans, but those things like with 24/7, those are actual reputable sites. But if you and I were to create a podcast about the Buckeyes and everything like that, we could, get something like this going. I mean, I know we got big bank that we could pay the Buckeye players to come and do exclusive interviews with us.
All right, there you go. You hear that, Weaver? I'll give you $10 if you come on the old Justin Kinner show with Kev Nash. 20. Kev, you chip in 10?
I got you.
Okay. All right.
But how cool is this? This is cool for everybody involved. Obviously,
these are the routes I like. I like seeing these things pop up more so than the car dealership promotion, car TV commercial, or a social media post. This stuff is really interesting to me.
Yeah, absolutely, because these are interviews and quote unquote exclusive interviews. But you ask the right questions, you can stretch these interviews out. Let's say they interview them for an hour. So you get an hour from each guy. I'm sure that these guys are going to be asking about, questions about each game of the season. You chop those interviews up and you drop them game week. So that keeps people coming back for clicks and keeps people coming back to your website. So in turn, you sell more advertising on your website. You're not just going to drop the full hour interview and let it be a one-off. No, you're going to chop this interview up and stretch it to the end of time and stretch it as long as you can. So this is great, not only for the players, it's great for this website for being ingenuitive enough to think of this and spread it out and then them get a sponsorship on top of it. This is what it's all about. And more importantly, I keep going back to say it, I'm not talking about people's money or anything like that. But when you bring in $10,000, guess who wants their cut? Uncle Sam. So it's a big circle. Everybody's getting paid here. The players getting paid. The government's getting paid. This website's getting paid. The car dealership, they're trying to bring in more people. This is advertising for them. This is a big circle. So this is what it's about. This is good business.
All right. So talked about credentialed media. Well, speaking of media, SEC Media Days is officially happening, which means, the best college football conference out there. It just means more there. Interesting news out of Media Day today. So we know last year there was a lot of playing within the rules or bending the rules or, kind of basically being flexible with them to kind of fit each conference's need at the time. We all know. And by the way, Buckeye fans, I don't know why you guys get defensive of this. Just own it. You know that the Big Ten, that Ohio State's the face of the Big Ten. And you knew that the rule heading in, about the Big Ten championship game, that they beat Indiana, but Ohio State didn't play enough games to reach the threshold to be in the Big Ten championship game. So therefore, Indiana should have been in the Big Ten championship game. But then rules were changed to allow Ohio State to get to the Big Ten championship game, which in essence propelled them to the college football playoff where they beat Clemson and had a chance to play for a national championship against Alabama. So that led to a lot of controversy, right? Like sometimes I don't know why there's controversy. Sometimes we just know the answer. Like, do we really need to explain why they changed the rules to benefit Ohio State? This is, it's common sense. All right. Now, that was all due to the COVID protocols last year of not knowing how to handle, having a minimum game requirement because some games would be either postponed or they're in the Big Ten's play, because they were so late to the party to start the season. There was no window to postpone games. It was a game is just suspended or the game is just canceled. It doesn't go against anyone's record. The game just doesn't happen. It's canceled due to COVID. And there was a lot of back and forth on how many players needed to be out to be eligible to cancel a game versus forfeit a game. And there was a lot of teams that were being accused of not technically having enough players to be out to be counted for the cancellation, that they should have been forfeited. There was some talk that Ohio State, that Michigan, or that Michigan, that they were going to stick it to Ohio State by just not playing that last game to keep Ohio State from getting to the Big Ten title game. Remember all that? And it got real dicey, got real kind of heated. The bottom line is that was the reality last year. So this coming up season, the SEC commissioner, Greg Sankey, he says that COVID-19 concerns will not lead to rescheduled football games. And it's led to a lot of backfire here, or not backfire, but backlash, Kev. And I'm curious your thoughts on this. SEC Media Days kicked off on Monday with Commissioner Greg Sankey announcing that 6 of the conference's 14 football teams have reached 80% vaccinations. So Greg Sankey is saying that number needs to grow. It needs to grow, and it needs to grow rapidly. We have learned how to manage through a COVID-19 environment, but we do not yet have control of the COVID environment. He goes on to say that the message to schools, Sankey said, is you're expected to play as scheduled. So if there's a COVID outbreak on a team, they will not be rescheduling a game. It'll just be a forfeiture. If you do not reach the threshold of vaccinations. So it says that means your team needs to be healthy to compete, and if not, that game will not be rescheduled. And thus, to dispose of the game, the forfeit word comes up at this point.
What's the threshold again?
I have not do 80%.
80%.
So 80% of your team needs to be vaccinated. So, okay.
These are questions you don't have the answer to, but I'm just thinking out loud.
Like loud.
We do this together. So there's 85 guys on the scholarship. Are we just talking about vaccinated scholarship players? Are we talking about the entire roster? Like I said, I know you don't know the answer to these questions. These are just things that come to my head, like that I would
85%. I'm sorry, hold on. 85%. I just found out for teams to avoid regular COVID-19 testing and the requirement of wearing masks indoors, programs must achieve 85% vaccinations.
Okay. So this is just basically the same thing that the NFL is doing, like with their vaccination policies and everything like that. Now, outside of like giving teams a forfeit, they're just saying like, all right, you can't do these type of things. You can't have, you got to wear masks indoors in the NFL and everything like that. I have no problem with this. I have no problem with this at all. And the bigger thing that I would want is, hey, you want to come to these games? We want to pack out this 100,000 seat stadium. Let's get vaccinated as well, because that's an issue as well. You know what I'm saying? Like I'm with him. I'm with him with 85%. I'm with 100%, like, to be perfectly honest. But I want this to expand past just, the coaches and the players. I want him to expand it to people that's coming to the games too, to be perfectly honest.
Yeah, so again, for teams to avoid regular COVID-19 testing, the requirement of wearing masks indoors, programs must achieve 80% vaccinations. And Sankey goes on to say that, and when people are fully vaccinated, we all have the ability to avoid serious health risks, reduce the virus spread, and maximize our chances of returning to a normal college football experience and to normal life. With 6 weeks to go before kickoff, holy smokes, 6 weeks. That is right? Like it's the 19th. With 6 weeks to go before kickoff, now is the time to seek that full vaccination. Real quick before you get to your point, are you surprised? And I don't want to get into it with listeners about their thoughts on getting vaccinated or not. I do find this interesting that the conference that was so gung-ho a year ago of even without vaccinations, without knowing everything about this virus, was stadiums, putting people in them. We're starting on time. We're going to play non-conference games. Are you surprised of the aggressiveness of the approach of this from Sankey? It just doesn't seem to be in the not character. I'm not questioning someone's character. It doesn't seem to be in line with the message we were getting from the SEC a year ago of we had less answers a year ago. There was no vaccinations, and yet there were full stadium. Well, not full, so? But the SEC, they were the ones that put the pressure on the Big Ten and everyone else because they were the first to say we are not changing our schedule.
I think this is in line with everything that the SEC is about. They're about playing the games. They're about competing on the field and everything like that. That's the message that they put out there. And a way that you make sure you're competing is having more people vaccinated. Now, just because you're vaccinated doesn't mean you can't catch COVID. It just is a preventative measure to hopefully keep you out the hospital, keep you off a ventilator, things of that nature. So I think this is in line with what they want to do. They want to get on the field and they want to play some football. They want their student athletes to go out there and compete, and they want to have as many games as possible. So I think this is right in line with what they do.
No. I'm with you on that. What I mean is like last year, it just the perception was the SEC
didn't care.
We don't care.
Okay, gotcha.
So I'm actually very taken back by this. I'm not against it. I am just like, well, he sounds very buttoned up. Last year, it was a very aggressive approach that rubbed a lot of people the wrong way because at that time with no vaccinations and at the peak of the pandemic around this time a year ago, it's like, no, we're starting on time. We're going to play non-conference games. We're the Big Ten, they could wait 2 months to start, but we're starting on time. We'll dominate the game of the week. So that's what I mean by I think this is a very I guess a swerve, but you're right. It's with the end goal to do what they did a year ago and play. But a year ago, the perception was they don't care about this pandemic. They're mocking this pandemic. They're going to play during it. They don't care if there's vaccinations or not. And now it's like, oh no, we're going to make your life hell if you don't get vaccinated. And you're right. Look,
the common denominator is them wanting to play football.
Yep.
And the common denominator, them is being aggressive. They were aggressive saying they were going to play regardless. Now they're being aggressive saying we're going to play. And now that we have a vaccine, let's get the vaccine because we're going to play ball. So, I mean, I want to see what the other conferences say because I truly believe we already know this. This is what's going to happen. The SEC is kinfolk with the SEC, just like the Big Ten somehow is kinfolk with the Pac-12. You know, those conferences are going to align, and the Big 12 is going to align with whatever the SEC and ACC is. Like they're in a pack all to themselves. And it always seems like the Big Ten and the Pac-12 are kind of like these teams or conferences that are in limbo about making these type of decisions. Look, man, I'm with the 85% because if doing my terrible math in my head, I believe just saying 85 scholarship players, you're saying that's at 85%. That about 73 players of the 75, 85 guys on scholarship.
There are exemptions. You can be excluded from the total if there are health concerns against the vaccine or something else. So if you say 85 players, but 3 of the players have health related reasons why they don't get the vaccine, you are excluded from the 85 total. So it's the percent of the 82 players. So it doesn't work. It doesn't count against them, if that makes sense. But that includes, it's not just the 85 players, it's the coaching staff and everything else across the board. As far as this goes, what this also says to me is that the Sankey and them are like, hold on, we're not losing money again this year. We lost money. We're going full steam ahead, and to cover our asses, this. And people who are like, I saw people rip the SEC today for this. You could rip the SEC for a lot of things. This, I don't mind, because you know what they would really be ripped for? Get vaccinated or not playing. Then they would be. That's in essence kind of forcing people to get it. This is just incentivizing getting it.
Yeah, it's the
making
same
your
thing
life
the
easier.
NBA did the same thing the NFL is doing. It's the same thing the NHL did. It's the same thing that all professional sports teams did.
Yeah. Well, keep in mind too the TBT.
Yeah.
TBT on WING coming this Friday night, 9 o'clock. Carmen's Crew. I got some. The trash talk has started between the Dayton Flyers and the Ohio State Buckeyes. Carmen's Crew took a huge shot at the Dayton Flyers. I'll tell you about that in a moment. But that's another example there. They were calling to inquire about our vaccination stuff, because if we're vaccinated, we'll have floor access to the players, everything like that. Basically, it's just that life is normal, right? Mm-hmm. If not, masks have to be worn. I'm buried up in the concourse and all that stuff and all that. So I was like, okay, I'm so glad I got that taken care of. I don't have to worry about that. But the point is even in our media world, they're telling us the same thing. Sure, you can cover games, but you have to be here in the non-cool kids section. You have to wear a mask like a weirdo. You have to do all this stuff where everyone's going to be pointing and looking at you all funny. Or you can have it and you could just enjoy your time covering the TV. I'm like, okay, well, then we're all set and have nothing to worry about. But the bottom line is I just found all that very interesting as that even, and I'm sure for those of you listening at your job, I'm sure there's probably incentives to being vaccinated, outside of the fact that you're protecting yourself from a damn bad pandemic. But from a work, I'm sure there's businesses out there like, if you're vaccinated, you could return to the office, which I don't know if that's really incentivizing people to go get it, right? Like, I have no clue. For one, I hate working from home. I hated it. I didn't have to do it as long as most people, but I hated it. I hated it with a passion. I thought it was cool at first. It's the Justin Kinder Show from my kitchen, from the living room. I'm going to go out on the back porch and do the show. It was cool. I ran out of places to do the show from, and I wasn't going to do the bathroom. That'd be kind of weird. So I was like, okay, I got to get back to the best
sound quality in the bathroom, though.
So, I don't know. Shaw is dropping his
What's
wisdom,
up, Shaw?
His wisdom on the vaccine. He's just he's dropping by for that. We'll step away for a few moments. Shots are fired. Carmen's Crew, their Twitter account, took a shot at the Dayton Flyers Red Scare. Kyle Davis will not be the point guard for the Red Scare at the upcoming TBT, which I was disappointed to find that out last week. So they had to replace him. They replaced him with another really, really good point guard. It's not a former Flyer. It's a former Buckeye. And Carmen's Crew, their Twitter account, well, they had a little jab. They made a little jab at the Dayton Flyers, and of course it led to a fun back and forth, and I love a good back and forth, especially when I just get to sit back and watch it. I'll have that coming up for you as we talk about what's coming this weekend with the TBT on WING. Kev Nash brings you over under. We got all of that coming up around the corner. Don't go anywhere. Oh, yeah, another list came out today, by the way. ESPN's Power Rankings ranks the teams from first to worst in regards to who is set up for success over the next 3 years. The Cleveland Browns come in at number 5. The Cincinnati Bengals. Oh, tell me, Kenner, tell me what my team comes in at. I'll tell you at the top of the hour. Don't go anywhere.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
The Cash Explosion Cash Contest is a nationwide contest for your chance to win $1,000 daily. No purchase necessary to enter or win. You will receive an email confirming entry. One winner will be chosen for each day. Contest is open to U.S. residents 18 years or older. Contest is sponsored by participating Alpha Media, Aptivada, or their parent, subsidiary, and affiliated entities. Advertising agencies, promotional partners, and members of families or households are not eligible to enter or win. Odds of winning depend on number of entries received. Contest is subject to all applicable federal, state, and local laws and regulations. Void where prohibited. Participants must sign all contest release and waiver forms to be eligible to win the prize. The contest begins on Monday, July 5th, 2021, and ends on Friday, July 30th, 2021. To participate in the contest, you must listen to the participating radio station at the specified times and enter the word that wins at wingam.com. Contest sponsors are not responsible for technical failures or malfunctions of any kind. For full contest rules, please visit wingam.com. Decisions of station management with respect to the contest are final.
At Lowe's, we know your home is an expression of you, and we see you walking down these aisles of possibility, running your finger on that marble top Allen & Roth vanity, regularly $5.99, but now $3.49, and finding that perfect rattan pendant at an everyday low price of $99.98. In our showrooms of style, you'll find whatever you're into at a price you'll really get into. Lowe's, home to any budget, home to any possibility. Selection varies by location. While supplies last. See associate at Lowe's.com for details. Valid through 8/29/21. U.S. only.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
Many Vietnam War veterans veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
Hi, this is Eddie Sorrell, Body Shop Manager at Germain Honda of Beaver Creek. When you need a dependable body shop, we're here to help, repairing all makes and models. Our technicians have over 125 years experience. That means we can repair your vehicle quickly and efficiently. Our department is state-of-the-art with new equipment to get you back on the road quickly. We offer loaner cars during service and free estimates. Germain Honda of Beaver Creek, Route 35, just east of 675 between Xenia and Beaver Creek.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
Hey everybody, it's Stephen A. Smith, and everyone knows my feelings on Cowboys fans. But really, Justin Kinner, you're a Cowboys fan and a Browns fan? Good Lord have mercy. I don't know what the hell to do with y'all. I really don't.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash. Weekdays from 3 to 6 p.m. on 1410 ESPN Radio. College football playoffs, Browns, Bengals, Buckeyes, and more. Catch the Keith Byers Show Mondays at noon on 1410 ESPN Radio.
Ready for renovations? Arts Rental Equipment has the tools you need to make your home, lawn, and garden stand out this year. From brush chippers to cutoff saws, no job is too small or too big. Visit your local Arts store today. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
You know, a few days ago while hanging out with my family, I noticed my father staring blankly at me. Something's not right, I thought. Is he having a stroke? Then I remembered to act fast, F-A-S-T, and did this quick test. F, face. I asked my father to smile. One side of his face drooped. A, arm. I asked him to lift both arms. No problem there. S, speech. I asked him to repeat a phrase. His speaking was slurred. T, time. I called 911 for immediate help. This way, he began receiving life-saving treatment in the ambulance. My father was out of the hospital in a few days, all because he made it to the hospital within an hour of his stroke. Practice recognizing the signs of a stroke so that you can act F-A-S-T, fast, to save a loved one.
This message is brought to you by the Ohio Department of Health's Coverdell Stroke Program.
The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center brings the courthouse to the community with its weekly outreach programs to local churches, libraries, and community centers. We help you navigate the legal system. Find a location near you at courthouse2u.com. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Mike Foley.
Staples is evolving to Staples Connect, a new world of possible with innovative tools for small business and remote workers and learners. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com.
WING 1410 Dayton, Dayton's ESPN Radio.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed.
Do you have a home improvement project? Use the right tool for the job and rent from Arts Rental Equipment. Arts has the best selection from power washers and ladders to loaders and dump trailers. Work smart. Rent from Arts.
The Reds are on the radio.
Every hit, every strikeout, every Reds victory. You can catch all of the action all season long right here on Dayton's home of the Reds, 1410 ESPN Radio. On Twitter, make sure to give us a follow. Search 1410 Kinner for Justin Kinner on Twitter. That's 1410 KINNER and ESPN Dayton for the station Twitter handle. We're live. We're local.
Why are you gonna miss me? Strike him out?
We're Dayton's ESPN radio station. Now, let's send it to the WING studios for Dayton's only local sports talk show. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
You know, I hate every fan base that has ever thrown stuff on the field. Like, how could you be such a dumb fan base to throw things on the field? Every team I follow, they would never do something. Oh, wait. Never mind. Never mind. Cleveland Browns would never have a fan base that would stoop to such low levels. The fan who hit Boston Red Sox left fielder Alex Vertigo with a baseball thrown from the Yankee Stadium stands has been banned for life from attending Major League games. So not banned for life from Yankee Stadium, banned for life from all of Major League Baseball. In all seriousness, I want to be banned for life from a sporting event just because I want to figure out how the hell they're going to tell it's me coming in. I can go. I'll make, like, you know what I mean? Who was the Barstool dude? He was banned from all NFL games, and yet he wore a disguise and got into the Super Bowl years ago. So I'm just saying, like, that's what is crazy to me about all this. I mean,
which manager was that wore the fake mustache after he got tossed out the game?
Oh, I know who you're saying. Damn, who was that? I got typed there. But in all seriousness, like, I need to reach out to like UD or someone and find out, okay, if UD Portnoy, I can't believe I forgot Portnoy's name. Thank you, Shaw. I want to find out, in all seriousness, I want to ask UD about this or whoever. As Bobby Valentine. Man, Shaw, shout out to Shaw, who I mean to.
Nets.
He came in. He knew the answers to two of them. I mean, he just
with the arms crossed.
He's like, what? If you see Bobby Valentine, no, I think he went that way. I want to ask UD and the people who are in charge there, if they ban somebody from UD Arena, which I don't think I'm banned. I just don't think I'm welcome with open arms. I don't think I'm banned. But if you ban somebody from UD Arena, how do they, do they have like facial recognition software? I doubt it, but do they? Like, how do you know? Hey,
brothers watch.
Kev, I can't buy the tickets online. Will you buy me a UD ticket, please?
Yes.
Will you buy? Okay, cool. Boom. I don't have to pay you back, do I?
Yes.
Okay. Will you pay for my seat license?
No.
Can't promise you that you'll get it. But no, I just don't understand that. So he's banned from Major League Baseball games. Okay, this dude was banned from, the start at Yankee Stadium. What's stopping him from coming to Cincinnati and buying a ticket and going up to the gate at Great American Ballpark?
It's a good question.
Oh, MLB Ballpark app. That's how they'll track you. Okay. My name is now Tim Erickson, and I just created an MLB Ballpark account. Cool. I just bought my tickets to Great American Ballpark. I'm really fascinated by this. We always hear this, he's banned for life from attending a game. Well, how? I would love to know how they do that. I really want to be banned from something so I could try to,
yeah, you did just bring that up. I was going to say, well, you pay with your credit card or your debit card, but you just talked about.
That's why I said, Kev, you buy it for me. Yeah.
Stickers, yeah.
I want them at a radio station. I want, something. That's all. I'm just interested in this. But yeah, this was another typical situation. We saw this a lot at the beginning of the NBA playoffs. You notice that just disappeared? Did fans just forget? Like, remember when NBA games started, the playoffs? Did fans just forget how to act? And all of a sudden, the problem just went away. I haven't heard of any fan misbehavior at NBA games. And that was like the story of the playoffs when it started. Was it the playoffs or just in general?
It was the playoffs with Trae Young getting spit on. Everything that was happening with Ja Morant out there in Utah with the racial slurs, the popcorn with Russell Westbrook and everything like that. Yeah, it was wild for a second. And I'm glad things stopped. I'm glad it's about what's going on the actual court. That's where the drama should be taking place, not in the stands.
Yeah, so I just found that interesting again. And I just always ask, and no one ever has an answer. And I'll continue to always ask every time a story like this floats by. It's one thing to be banned from a stadium, but how do you make sure they don't go back?
I'm going back.
It's a lot of people at a game. At Great American Ballpark, it's a long
Dye
line.
Your hair.
Wear a hat. I'll wear a Cardinals jersey. I'll wear something. I'll put on a little fake mustache. It is what it is. But so I just thought that was interesting. But Shaw says the Neanderthals got dealt with, so everyone else saw there was consequences, and everyone decided to act like adults again. And honestly, that's why. So remember the story about the lady at the Tour de France?
Mm-hmm.
I thought it was ridiculous that they were going to sue her and they arrested her and all this stuff. I'm like, from the video I saw, she just leaned out. She did break the rules. She leaned out, kicking her out. What?
Rules are the rules.
But she faced it. But rules are rules. But no one says that the punishment of violating that rule is freaking almost cussed. Holy smokes. That would have been a hell of a Monday. Luckily, we have equipment that works here. So where was I going with this before I'll have to make my typical smartass response? It's going to get me in trouble one of these days. I'm literally lost. I was so caught up in making a smart ass comment about something. It threw me off. So when that lady, when she leaned in and got the picture or whatever, she got all excited and then caused that like 25 car pile up in the Tour de France. I thought that they were very aggressive with the punishment. They were going to arrest her. They were going to sue her. They ultimately didn't end up doing any of that. But I think it did get everyone's attention for the rest of the Tour de France because they haven't in any of the stages remaining. Look at that. Look at Kidder acting like he knows what the hell he's talking. In the remaining stages, there was no more issues with fans at the Tour de France. So there you go. But I just think, yeah, right. It's about acting aggressively with the consequences and hoping that everyone kind of follows suit. There you go. All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash as we kick things off here in hour number 3. Kev Nash wants to bring us over under, and that's what we're going to do. Kev Nash brings you over under.
Kev Nash brings you over under.
All right, Kev, lead things off. We're going to start to Major League Baseball and that embarrassing Cincinnati Reds team.
Yeah, the Cincinnati Reds took a major step back in their race for the NL Central lead. The Redlegs got swept in the 3-game series versus the Brew Crew. Up next for the Redlegs, the 3-game series versus the Mets. So over under 1.5 wins for the Reds in the next 3 games.
Vladimir Gutierrez on the mound tonight for the Reds. I will say this. The Reds did screw up, too, because they got swept in a series that you had Sonny Gray and Luis Castillo pitching in, Kev. Like, that's and Tyler Mahle's no slouch. Like, I wouldn't expect, if you tell me, I guarantee you there will not be another 3-game stretch the rest of the season. I would hope that Tyler Mahle, Sonny Gray, Luis Castillo are your pitchers, and it doesn't result in at least 1 win. So that's also what's very unfortunate about that Brewers series over the weekend. But Vladimir Gutierrez on the mound tonight. I don't know. I would love to see what the pitching matchup is I'm trying to find that for the next couple of days. I can't find it anywhere. Bottom line is this. I don't know if the Reds are going to take 2 or 3, Kev, but they have to take 2 or 3. But I hope what we just saw was not the sign of things to come. I'm going to say the under. Because, Kev, it's one thing if you lose games because of your deficiencies being that bullpen is, even though I gave the stats earlier, the Reds are 27. They've won 27 games since the beginning, 24-17, since the beginning of June. And during that 24-17 record, during that stretch, they used their bullpen more than any other team in baseball. From June 1st until yesterday, the Reds have used their bullpen more than any other team in baseball. And I know it's bad, but that bullpen, as bad as it's been, David Bell and the rest of the Reds have managed to win 24 games during that stretch, even with that bad bullpen. But the reason they lost that Brewers series, Kev, it wasn't the bullpen. It was the team offensively hit 168. They didn't score runs. They couldn't steal bases. All the fundamentals went out the door. Wild pitches left and right, base running blunders. It was a mess. That's what lost them the series against the Brewers. And now you have a really good Mets team coming in, and all of a sudden I'm supposed to expect that this team is just going to wake up from the funk that they were in. I don't know, Kev. I'm going to say under. I'm concerned about what I'm seeing from the Reds. It's very 2014-esque, where they were a couple games out of first in the division, and then they got swept by the Yankees right off the bat, and then they got swept by the Brewers right off the bat. They had the Brewers first, and now the other New York team next. I'm hoping this isn't we're rewatching what happened in 2014 coming out of the All-Star break that led to them just basically having a fire sale. I'm very concerned. I think it's under. If the over-under is 1.5 wins for the Reds in this Mets series, I'm going to say under. I think that they win less than that.
I'm going to go with the over. They're not going to get DeGrom. That's always a good thing. Frankie Lindor is hurt. He's not going to play in this series. And the Mets are 20-28 on the road. Reds win 2 or 3.
And Shaw coming through in the clutch again. And to think I was mean to him. He says MLB.com says Gutierrez, Wade Miley, and Hoffman. They'll win the Wade Miley start. I like Gutierrez. They could win tonight's start. But again, it's not about, I shouldn't say it's not about the pitching, because it's definitely about the pitching, but it's about the mental approach. The mental approach. Like, they lost that series to the Brewers. They got swept at home coming out of the All-Star break. They were mentally off. And I don't know if they're going to be mentally on. There's no Castillo in the lineup tonight. No Castellanos in the lineup tonight. David Bell, he's gonna come off the bench tonight. If he's ready to go, put him in that lineup. What are you waiting for? You just got swept coming out of the All-Star break. If he's healthy enough to play, David Bell, put him in the lineup. We don't have time for this. Oh, well, if we're down 5-0 in the fourth inning and we need to get a fire started, you've started the fire already. You're burning this team down. Put him in the damn lineup. Anyways, next up, college football we go.
Absolutely. New Texas Longhorns head coach Steve Sarkisian was quoted at Big 12 Media Day saying the Horns can't rely on magical fairy dust and winning is hard. So over or under 8.5 wins for the Longhorns this season.
Well, I will say this. I kind of like Sarkisian's approach on this because too many times Texas has been mocked in years past for we're back and oh no, we're Texas football. Like it's kind of this like they're trying to convince everybody. I really respect this approach from Sarkisian saying, hey, just because we're Texas doesn't mean we're guaranteed anything. Now, right. I do like their schedule. I look at this schedule. You have the Ragin' Cajuns. You have Louisiana. They're at Arkansas. They have the Rice Owls and Texas Tech and TCU. Of course, they get right into conference play. But I think there's more than 12 wins in there. I think they'll be okay.
8. I said 8.5.
Oh, 8?
Like 12. Are they playing for
I'm sorry. Hold up. I did not say 12. I didn't mean to say they would win 12. I meant never mind. I'm looking at 12 on this sheet. I apologize. They could definitely win 8 here. They could definitely win 8. For one, I mean, I could see maybe a loss against Oklahoma, of course. Probably almost guarantee the loss against Oklahoma. But yeah, I think that Texas is going to win more than that. I think Texas will be in the mix when it's all said and done. But their non-conference is not brutal. They play Arkansas. That's a good solid non-conference game. It's like Oregon for Ohio State. I don't think anyone's going to pick Arkansas over Texas, but it's a good, reputable matchup that people will circle and look at, just like Texas, Oregon. No one's really looking at Oregon to beat Ohio State, but it's a good win for Ohio State when they get it. That's kind of what this is. But I'm going to take the over. I think Texas is going to be solid, but I still think they have a loss or two. They will not be in the college football playoff when it's all said and done.
I'm going to go with the over as well. I think that Sarkisian is going to come on there, and they're going to run the ball heavily. They got 2 good running backs already on the roster at Texas, and the worst thing you could do is try to come in there and try to play like you have Alabama players, because that's what everybody's expecting. They're expecting him in there, come in there and fix the offense and be high flying with Mac Jones and receivers that went in the first round the last couple of years in the NFL draft. They don't have that type of talent on their team, but what they do have is good running backs. So I think they're going to be kind of a la ground and pound type of situation where they're going to be able to win a lot of these football games. So I'm going to go with the over, even though I don't like Texas football.
Horns down.
Absolutely.
By the way, my guy Baker Mayfield, best quarterback in the AFC North, he made sure to put a little collage together of all the different times that he's done the horns down little symbol there.
Should have recruited him.
There you go.
Putting the horns up. Man,
Horns
they
down.
probably would have won some games.
To the Olympics now we go, and this one's tough. We just talked about COVID in the Big 12 or the SEC a little bit ago.
Ooh-wee. Coco Gauff announced on social media that she tested positive for COVID-19 and won't be able to compete in the Tokyo Olympics. That's on the heels of baller Bradley Beal testing positive, and then more COVID issues have come out between Team USA with Zach LaVine and also on the women's team as well. So over or under 10 Olympic U.S. athletes, I'm going to just stick this with the U.S., missing the games due to COVID.
Now, keep in mind, missing them due to COVID could mean a couple of different things. It could mean, yes, that they tested positive or whatever, but it could be some who, as we get closer and closer to them actually having to depart for Tokyo, well, some just opt not to go. Really no word on why Kevin Love opted out.
Calf injury.
Calf, it was an injury.
Yeah.
And it said some of the concerns with COVID and an injury, but I didn't know what the injury was. So it was a calf?
Yeah, calf injury. Again. Don't forget the again part.
So how many athletes total are going to be competing over there? Either way, it's going to be a lot to where 10.
Well, they have. I'm not sure like the have to, but the Olympics opening ceremony is on Friday, so I would imagine everybody's like leaving like Wednesday or Thursday. I mean, that's not like a trip down to Cincinnati. You know what I'm saying? That's on the other side of the globe.
So look, I might say around 10. I'm going to say over, mainly just because there's a lot of athletes heading over there.
Right.
I want to say under just because of the fact that, you're already going to Tokyo. So you're not going to opt out voluntarily in regards to, I'm starting to get a little concerned. I think it's going to have to be this. Look, we just watched the Yankees have an outbreak. Shaw already doing he's asking this on purpose just to stir it up.
Over 500 American athletes.
Aren't most of these athletes already vaccinated? You can still test positive even if you get vaccinated. Your chances just decrease. That's all. So I still think there's a chance that they could test positive when they're over there. I'm going to say over, but I don't think it's going to be much over. I think it's going to be around the 10 athlete marker. I think it'll be around 10 to 12 in that ballpark range. Again, we don't follow a lot of the sports very closely.
Right.
So I don't know.
That's why I was going to go with the over as well, because we obviously are going to focus on the things that we actually know about, the basketball, the track and field, the swimming, like things that are right there in our public view. But there's archery, there's breakdancing is a part of the Olympics this year. So there's tons of people.
Why
500 American athletes are going to compete in the Olympics. So if you just say 10 of them, that would be remarkable if only 10 people tested positive for COVID before going over to Tokyo. So I'm going to go with the over as well.
I forgot about that. Breakdancing. Why? Why is that an Olympic sport?
Don't be jealous.
Look, if that's the case, there's a lot of things but why?
Because you can't pop, lock, and drop it, man.
Even if I could, I would still be saying why. So I could be, I'm a breakdancer, so I could be an Olympic gold medalist?
Yeah, because they got rid of softball, which is crazy to me.
So you get rid of softball and you replace it with breakdancing.
Crazy, right?
I just don't get it. By the way, I'm not downplaying what you do. Come on, folks. I'm tired of this. I don't care. If I offend somebody, I offend somebody. That's stupid. Breakdancing is a stupid thing to consider to be an Olympic anything. I don't find breakdancing stupid. I think good for you that you could do that. But who thought, what would make a great Olympics with breakdancing? And then the room all laughs, and then the guy that said it's not laughing, this dude's serious. He thinks breakdance is true. And then somehow it made its way through the process of getting it to be an Olympic sport. I don't understand it. I really don't. If you're a breakdancer, more power to you. There's a lot of things I do. I don't think that a pizza roll eating contest should be an Olympic sport, but I'd be pretty damn good at that too. I don't know. I'd rather see a hot dog eating contest be a part of the Olympics, at least. And I think that's stupid, but at least that's a thing here. I guess there's breakdancing competitions too, but are any of them on ESPN?
Oh, check this out. 3-on-3 basketball. That's
also
3-on-3.
Also dumb. Why?
That is dope. I like that.
That's what all the old timers out of the NBA do with Ice Cube.
Exactly. D-Wade, Melo, and Bosh. Who beating them?
Well, the Dallas Mavericks might. You mean in that 3-on-3?
Yeah, the 3-on-3. Badminton. My grandma tried to teach me how to play badminton one day. Yeah. Boxing, of course. Beach volleyball. Oh, no. Softball is still there. Softball is baseball and softball, even though the best baseball players don't play because they're too busy playing, in MLB. Anyway, back more Olympics. USA basketball had their final tune-up before starting Olympic competition. They beat Spain 83-79, led by Damian Lillard's 19 points. And the newcomer, Johnson, he dropped 15 points for Team USA. So over or under the U.S. winning the silver medal in the Tokyo Games.
Look, they're going to win gold. I just don't think they're going to do it in dominating fashion. What I mean by that is a blowout for this Olympic team might be a 20-point win. And that's what we've seen in a couple of these exhibition games. I actually really like the addition of Keldon Johnson. And you're probably saying who, and that's a good thing.
Exactly.
If you're adding a who to a roster, that means they must be really, really good and an up-and-comer. And that means they also fill a role on the team. What Team USA needed was someone to fill a role. And that's what Keldon Johnson did. They had Dame Lillard. They had Kevin Durant. You have your scores. It would have made no sense to replace Bradley Beal to go out and get another score. It wouldn't hurt to have another score, but what Keldon Johnson brings is a wing defender as well, which obviously helps. I like Keldon Johnson, Kev. I like the versatility that he brings. He can score. He can play defense. And everyone was ripping this team, how bad they were defensively. They went out and got JaVale McGee and him. I forgot JaVale McGee's mother won a gold medal. I didn't realize that when we talked about that on Friday. I thought that was pretty cool. But these two names aren't sexy, but they are sexy when you talk about what roles that they fill. I think this team wins gold, but it's not going to be winning 140 to 80 something. They're going to be close games, but I do think that there's talent down the stretch. Size will be what keeps teams in games against Team USA, but when you have Dame Lillard and Kevin Durant, no one's out there is going to stop those two in these close game situations. They're much better suited to move forward with that.
Sports climbing. I don't know what that is, but I'll be watching. rhythm gymnastics, rowing. I'm here for it all, man. I'm going to go with the over as well. Team USA basketball is bringing home the gold medal. And like you said before, man, these guys that are going to be playing their roles, they play those roles in the NBA. JaVale McGee, what he does in the NBA, rebound, block shots, run floor. That's exactly what he's going to be doing in the Olympics. Keldon Johnson, I watched the game last night. Pick and roll, dive to the cup, dunk.
That's all you got to do. That's your role.
He wasn't shooting any jumpers at all. Like, I'm going to set this pick, and I'm going to roll because, of course, you're going to trap Damian Lillard. He's going to throw me a bounce pass, and I'm going to dunk it, as opposed to running to the corner and shooting a fadeaway three a la Bradley Beal or Jason Tatum. All due respect.
No, and like it's about constructing a good team, not an all-star team. And, now, even though that Redeem team was a all-star team, you also had guys that accepted roles. LeBron was such a versatile player that he can accept many different roles. Kobe was a closer as well as a defender. You had Kevin Durant as a scorer, a long defender. You had guys that just accepted what their role was, and that's what this is. It's just with less sexier names is really all it comes down to. And by the way, that's why he worked so well with the Warriors, by the way. That's why he was a perfect addition. He's not coming in here trying to be Mr. Olympian. He's coming here just to be Mr. Role Player, which is what has allowed him to be in the league as long as he has.
Facts.
So there you go. It's the Justin Kinder Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. So your Pittsburgh Steelers made a very, very good signing that we'll talk about on the other side of this break. In fact, the pass rushers in the AFC North are top-notch. Top-notch. What did this signing for the Steelers mean? I'll tell you who they just signed on the other side. Plus, ESPN, they did their power rankings based on the team. They ranked the teams from who is set up for the most success over the next 3 years. The Cleveland Browns came in at number 5. The Cincinnati Bengals came in at a couple spots behind. Actually, they came in a lot of spots behind the Cleveland Browns. Bengals fans, you all have a ton of faith in Joe Burrow and this Bengals team, but you might be the only ones. I'll tell you why when we come back. Oh, here we go. He's going to be mean again to the Bengals. I hate the Bengals hour.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash on 1410 ESPN Radio.
ESPN 1410 Wing AM weather.
This afternoon will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 86. Tonight will be mostly clear, a low near 66. And tomorrow will be mainly clear and sunny, a high near 90. I'm Pete Spivak for 1410 ESPN Radio.
Weather is brought to you by Cullet Seal Coating, protecting the asphalt surfaces at your home, office, or commercial property. Introducing infrared patching, a new technology for your property. This service and more at culletsealcoating.com.
We're planning a trip to Spain later this year.
But our Spanish
is pretty bad. So we're using Babbel.
Babbel's conversation-based method teaches you real-life words and phrases. And with Babbel's interactive, bite-sized lessons, you'll remember what you learned.
There's no easier way to learn another language.
Ahora hablamos español.
He just said, now we speak Spanish.
Babbel, language for life. Now try Babbel for free. Just go to Babbel.com. That's Babbel.com.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, Staples 1-subject notebooks are only 25 cents each, and Crayola 24-count crayons, 2-pocket poly folders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, there'll be tons of drawings to hang on the fridge ready.
We're going to need a bigger refrigerator.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back-to-school and get amazing prices for everything on your back-to-school list. Ends 9/18, limit 30, notebooks in store only. Offer may vary online.
Enjoy a powerful business upgrade with Dell Technologies Black Friday and July event. Get amazing savings with up to 50% off high-performance computers and tech built for business, and be able to take your office with you with Windows 10 Pro. Plus, get great offers on Dell servers, monitors, docks, and more, all with easy financing options through Dell Financial Services. Call 877-ASK-DELL. That's 877-ASK-DELL, and speak to a Dell Technologies advisor today.
Step up your career with an MBA from Ohio Dominican University. At Ohio Dominican, you can earn your MBA 100% online in just 16 months. With 7 high-demand concentrations, including data analytics, risk management, and now healthcare administration, an MBA from Ohio Dominican fits your professional goals. It's also one of the most affordable programs in the region. Classes start soon. Get started at ohiodominican.edu/MBA.
Lisa and Payroll, hello.
Lisa. Hi, it's Jim at the home office. Any particular reason why your mailroom clerk makes $2.7 million a year?
Well, he's really good, you know.
Is it time to update your payroll network? Call the certified professionals at Arrowhead Tax Accounting and Payroll Services in New Carlisle at 937-543-5770. Arrowhead Tax Accounting and Payroll Services. Our target is your satisfaction.
There's nothing better than a fresh-made home-style meal, but not everyone loves the hassle of cooking. At Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken, home-style happens here with our famous 12-piece family meal at a great price. This famous family meal includes 12 mixed pieces of Lee's fresh, never-frozen chicken that is honey-dipped, hand-breaded, and cooked to perfection, plus 3 large sides and 6 fluffy biscuits. Get a home-style meal made easy today with Lee's 12-piece family meal at a great price. Only at Lee's, famous for chicken.
Over the last year and a half, we all learned some hard lessons. One of the most important is that you can't put off the inevitable. Hi, this is Mark Davis at Dayton Memorial Park Cemetery and Mausoleums. No matter how hard it is to think about, we all need a final resting place. When pre-planning with your funeral home, please remember that cemetery arrangements must also be made. Call us today at 937-890-1831 or visit our website at DaytonMemorialPark.com. And remember, Dayton Memorial Park is a beautiful place to celebrate life.
Menards is your complete bathroom headquarters. We have what you need to give your bathroom a fresh, new look from top brands. Browse our large selection of Sterling showers, tubs, surrounds, and glass doors to fit your style. All Sterling tubs and showers are 11% off at Menards. Get 11% off everything now at Menards. Good through July 24th. Savings or mail-in rebates. Some exclusions apply. See store for details.
Save big money at Menards.
You have empty office space to fill or home office to create. You know what you need. You know what you'd like. But you also have a pretty good idea after you've shopped around the usual places what you need and what you like might not happen. Well, then you haven't been to Charles Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. Nobody has their selection. Nobody has their discounts. And every week there's something new. If you need office furniture, Larrick's Warehouse Outlet can sell it to you for half the price and below manufacturer's selected prices. Half price and below on hundreds of items. Selection from budget to the best. Really, desks from $50 to $5,000. Filing cabinets from $25 to $500. Before you go anywhere else, do yourself a favor and come to Larrick's Warehouse Outlet. With 25,000 square feet of selection, you're not going to go anywhere else. Larrick's Warehouse Outlet at 23 McOil Avenue, Dayton. Open Monday through Friday, 9 to 6. Larrick's, continuing the tradition.
Hey everybody, Jay Farner here, CEO of Rocket Mortgage and Rocket Companies. Last year, we saw historically low mortgage interest rates. In fact, over 1 million homeowners took advantage of refinancing or buying a new home with Rocket Mortgage. What you may not know is that interest rates are already starting to increase again, and it's likely that trend is only going to continue. Our team of experts is standing by to help you save before rates go up. With an official mortgage review from Rocket Mortgage, you'll see just how much money you could save by making a move right now. Don't look back over these next few weeks and wish that you had taken action. You could save hundreds on your mortgage payments or pay off your home loan earlier than planned. You could even take cash out of your home to pay off high-interest debt, complete home repairs, or bulk up on an emergency fund. When you want to secure a low rate, Rocket can. Call 833-8ROCKET or visit rocketmortgage.com. Rocket.
Call for cost information and conditions. Equal housing lender licensed in all 50 states and MLSConsumerAccess.org number 3030.
Don't wait to get a new job. Express Employment Professionals is hiring for more than 35,000 jobs. Find your local Express office at expresspros.com or on the Express Jobs app.
Want free Reds tickets? How about a free MLB Network Reds bag? Maybe a Reds bobblehead? Here's an idea. How about we combine them all together and give you a chance to win a free WING Reds prize pack presented by Lee's Famous Recipe Chicken. Register daily at wingam.com. Whether you're at home, at work, or in your car, tune in to ESPN 1410 Wing AM or stream us live at wingam.com.
just talked about the on the over-under of at least 10 Olympic athletes missing games due to COVID. Well, literally mid-conversation, last hour it was announced that Zach LaVine was going to be put into health and safety protocols and did not travel with the rest of the team in its flight to Tokyo for the Olympics. So we're talking about, potential replacements. I mean, you'd have to think the USA select team, which does feature Obi Toppin, he could be one of the names that they maybe look to replace. Again, that's a long shot. I'm just throwing it out there. The way they've worded this, it's not as if he won't compete.
Right.
It just means that he would have a later flight.
Yeah.
I don't know. The Olympics is a short window, though. And we're talking about names that they could potentially add. They've already had this preseason. You even said it would make more sense to bring someone kind of from within. And it would be someone that wouldn't have to take on a huge role. LaVine wasn't going to have a huge role. But, I mean, that dude, I got to give him his credit. Like, years ago, I mocked him because, the best thing about him was the dunk contest. But he was so much more. He was a top 5 scorer this year, right?
Yeah.
Like, I think he finished in top 5 scorer. At least I thought. He was about 26, 27 a game.
Somewhere around there.
Problem is everyone averages 40 a game now, so that's probably considered bad in today's game. But they got Miles Bridges, Anthony Edwards. You got to think too. Some of the guys at Team USA, actually, yes, he probably could fly back because a lot of the guys in the finals, Middleton, some Devin Booker, a lot of these guys are going to be there too when it's all said and done. So
you think so? I think both dudes are going to end up opting out. I think. Especially if I win the NBA Finals. I know it sounds cool to be like, oh, man, I won the NBA Finals. Now I'm about to fly over to Tokyo, win me a gold medal. But, man, like this trying year that, a lot of these people have had. And I want to celebrate, if I win a chip. Like, I want to party. I want to party with my family and friends. I don't want to go directly. All right, you just won a championship. So we're going to get you on this private jet over to Tokyo so you can go stay over there for 2 weeks and win a gold medal. Like, I would be like,
I think that the team that lose, I think like if the Bucks lose, I think the guard or the players on the losing team would lose that, man, because that sucks. When you lose a big game is one thing. When you lose a championship game, a close, hard fought, but like mentally, you've checked out. I could see it being more difficult for the losing players to decide to get on a personal or on a private jet to head over to Tokyo. I think the winner, like Middleton, you're hoisting a trophy, and the next thing you know, all right, guys, I got to go win this gold medal. I think they're more likely to go than the guys that lose.
It's funny you bring that up because it's Devin Booker, Chris Middleton, and Drew Holiday. So how awkward that flight going to be? They smelling like champagne and you smelling like tears or vice versa?
Man, I tell you, we'll talk more about that tomorrow, but that series took a weird turn, man. Like I think everyone had counted out the Bucks. We did our over-unders. I just felt like when they got game 3, I'm like, they'll build on that, take game 4. Like, can't guarantee they're going to take game 5 on the road, but I always say the series doesn't start until the road a team on the road gets one. Well, the series is officially underway. And for the first time since 2016, we might see a home team celebrate a championship the way it should be.
I need a game 7.
I don't want to see. Well, fine. If it goes to game 7, the Suns better win. But at the same time, I'm just loving all the Chris Paul lovers. Oh,
just was loving him 2 weeks ago.
But again, he was playing well, but he is who I thought he was.
Oh, my goodness gracious.
Oh, Chris Paul, State Farm.
So what happens
Discount double check. Oh, Aaron Rodgers and him hanging out. Yeah, Aaron Rodgers crying about his team. Chris Paul losing with another. To the Milwaukee Bucks.
Oh, my goodness.
Chris Paul's about to lose to the Milwaukee Bucks. Aye. Steph Curry lost to the Raptors. It's okay. Holy moly. Okay, it is what it is. So your Steelers made a very good signing, by the way. Steelers have signed pass rusher Melvin Ingram to a 1-year contract. Now, we talked about the restructuring of Big Ben's deal. They had to lose Bud Dupree, which that's a huge loss. But this does, opposite side TJ Watt. Now, this is another very good it's a Pro Bowl pass rusher that the Steelers added. They're going to have deficiencies on the offensive end, but they're going to have a lot of strengths on the defensive end too, which is honestly the catalyst of what led them to that 11-0 start last season. Of course, injuries really led to them kind of slowing down. But if this run game that they hope that they fixed, with the draft and everything and kind of, bringing back a good core of receivers from last year as well, now the Bud Dupree loss isn't as huge now that you've added Melvin Ingram. the Steelers team has a lot to work with. I don't think you ever doubted that at all, but I do like this signing for the Steelers. I don't like it for the Browns. But Bengals fans, you're the ones that should be worried. You're the ones that don't have an offensive line. This should worry you. I'm fine. I have the best. My team has the best offensive line in football. I'm fine with this. I respect this. Bengals fans, you should be petrified. You have the worst offensive line. Well, one of the worst offensive lines in football. I think you improved slightly.
So what this does for the Steelers, it allows Alex Highsmith to continue to grow as a football player. It allows them not to have to go re-sign Avery Williamson. They made a trade for Avery Williamson from the Jets last year. He looked lost, and that's what happens when you make trades for people that play in a 4-3 and you ask them to play outside linebacker in a 3-4. They look lost out there. And that's exactly what happened to Avery Williamson. You ask somebody to come in middle of the season, like, hey, no, we don't want you doing this anymore. We want you to do this after playing half a season with somebody else. So it allows everybody to play their natural position. Obviously, the return of Devin Bush. We're hoping that knee is good to go. Robert Spillane is back from injury, a season injury as well. So he's going to be playing in the middle backer. And then they brought the former starter, Vince Williams, back. So people are going to be playing in their correct positions, starting out the season and everything like that. So that can only help. So I'm expecting, obviously, TJ Watt to still be double teamed and everything like that. So Melvin Ingram, former Pro Bowler, I'm expecting big things from. He used to play with the Chargers and everything like that with Bosa. So I'm expecting him to come in and wreck shop. I'm expecting 9 sacks.
And 8 of those will be against that Pop Warner team down by the river, as old Steve from Springboro always says. So there you go.
What are those phone calls going to start up again, you think?
As soon as we get some phone lines.
Oh, so we do.
So maybe by next season. I don't know. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. But good stuff there. The TBT on WING. So we talked about this. So the Red Scare, we're going to be carrying all Red Scare and Carmen's Crew games right here on 1410 Wing AM. And it was interesting because, last week Red Scare announced that there would be no Kyle Davis on the team, or Kyle Davis announced that he could not participate in this season. So they went ahead and they added a nice little, CJ Walker from Ohio State. I like this addition, by the way. So they welcome in CJ Walker. CJ Walker averaged about just a hair under 10 points a game and, under 5 assists and 3 rebounds for Ohio State last season. So the Carmen's Crew Twitter account took a shot at UD, basically saying so many great players coming out of Dayton that they have 2 OSU guys on the roster. And it led to some very entertaining back and forths between Dayton fans. And I thought it was funny. I was like counting down 3, 2, 1. I guarantee you will see the Aaron Kraft picture of him laying down, looking up. And sure enough, it happened, So, but I love the smack talk already. I'm praying that this actually does unfold at UD Arena, Carmen's Crew against Red Scare. But I like that addition for UD. I thought that was kind of an interesting one. See CJ Walker, playing with Kendall Pollard and these guys. I think that's pretty cool. I'm excited to see that here this weekend. Actually, this Saturday, we'll have the Red Scare game at 3:00 right here on 1410 Wing AM. Friday night, we'll have Carmen's Crew. They have to win a lot of games at the Covelli Center in Columbus. We're going to be there in Columbus all weekend, and I'm pumped. But I'm hoping that these guys, that Carmen's Crew and Red Scare, that they win their 3 games at the Covelli in Columbus to get to UD Arena, because that's when these 2 teams would face one another. So I'm looking forward to that. That'd be huge. That place would be nice.
It has to happen. All the trash talking, the intermingling of the roster and everything like that, that just sparks the competitive juices, not to mention that the $1 million is on the line. You see the type of effort that is being displayed in the TBT. I checked into a couple games over the weekend and everything like that. You saw some great finishes. You saw
good
some
quality
great
games.
Dunks. You saw people out there hustling because it's $1 million out there. It looked competitive, and that's exactly what you want. And you can only imagine how things are going to be ratcheted up with the alumni team from Columbus and the alumni team from here in Dayton. They have that history, and the intermingling of the rosters, you're going to get some stuff from CJ Walker and vice versa. Y'all didn't want me, y'all didn't have room for me, so I went to them. It's awesome.
Yeah, and you made a good point about the how competitive it is because of the fact that they are playing for $1 million. Each player does not win $1 million. But I did think that Seth Greenberg brought up a great point. He goes, yes, a lot of money is on the line, But that's not why these guys are playing. A lot of these guys play professional ball overseas.
True, very true.
Playing for money is not something that's new to these guys. But I think what you're seeing is, and you see it more with the alumni teams, they're playing, yes, for the money, but the pride that you see, like they get to put on a jersey that's very similar to the one that they wore back in their playing days, to play in front of the same fans that they got to play for back. I mean, we watch these guys walk off the court. I remember in Indianapolis, I'm sitting there, I'm watching Scoochie, who I would love to see play for Red Scare. I'm watching Kendall Pollard and Kyle Davis. I'm watching these guys walk off the floor for the final time, and they're looking around like, man, I'll never play with these guys again. I'll never play in front of these fans again. Definitely never play in front of them at UD Arena. And yet here we are all these years later. And there's a good chance, as long as they do, take care of business at the Covelli, that you could see Kendall Pollard again playing at UD Arena. You could see a lot of these, Ryan Mikesell and Trey Landers. The last time those two played was the very last game in front of fans, technically, in front of a sold-out UD Arena when College Game Day. The last time those two guys played at UD Arena was when College Game Day was here. They could potentially, a week from Saturday, be playing right back at UD Arena again. So I'm pretty pumped about that. I think that, so yes, they're playing for that money, but it's that pride of the school that they played for and playing with their former teammates and even former program players. I think that's really what you see a lot of these guys. That Wichita State team, very similar to UD's and Ohio State's. A lot of those guys played together, all played at that school, some overlap and stuff. So I thought that was cool. Loudon Love, by the way, from Wright State's playing on House of Pain for the Illinois alumni team. So there's that.
Not coming back, eh?
He's not coming back. Loudon Love did announce over the weekend he is not returning to Wright State next year. So
I wish him the best, man.
Not me.
Thing, man. Oh, look at you.
I'm joking. I really am joking on that, by the way. But I was pretty ticked off. I'm selfish. I'm a horrible human being.
Yes.
I found myself saying I would make fun of me. If I found out someone else was mad at a player for not coming back, I would rip that fan. And there I was being that fan. Petty to the ninth degree. I have no problem admitting it, but I am pulling for him, man. I really wanted him to come back for another year. That would have been a stacked team. They're going to be really, really good, even without him, but they would have had some damn trees down there. That would have been a good team to watch.
Absolutely. You talk about, the pride of university or pride of the school, but, I know it sounds corny, but like once you join like a program like UD and Ohio State, all these schools around the country, you truly are joining a brotherhood. And, even though a lot of these guys didn't even play with each other, like their times never overlapped. But, a lot of those guys come back to their university to train and to practice and things like that. So the new guys coming in, they've played with these guys before. This isn't just like, oh, man, the first time they're meeting each other. So they have some type of connection. They have a brotherhood together, man. So it's going to be awesome to watch them compete. And I love the TBT, and I love how the TBT has grown. And especially that Elam ending, it's very unique to what they do. You know what I'm saying? So I'm going to be locked in. Definitely, even though I'm going to be on vacation this week.
Oh, I mean, I don't blame you. Not even one little bit.
So when I'm checking my phone while I'm on vacation, you know what I'm checking it for. I'm checking to see multiple scores. I'm checking out the Red Scare. I'm checking out Carmen's Crew. And, of course, checking out Boeheim's Army.
I mean, they're the favorite for a lot to get there.
Yeah, they better. They better if they don't.
Better not.
No.
What side of the bracket are they on? I haven't even checked.
Whatever Chicago is.
Are they on the left side of the bracket or the right? Do you remember? Okay, so that means they would run into Carmen's Crew, or that. I need to find out where House of Pain is as well. That team's good. So the coach, so Joey Gruden and Jeremiah Bonsu, the two popular walk-ons at UD years ago, they're coaching this team. So that's pretty. But Mike LaTulip, who played at Wright State, is the head coach of the House of Pain, the
Nice.
Illinois, but he played at Illinois before transferring to Wright State for his senior season. So there's that little connection right there, getting Loudon to go play over there.
Nice.
We'll step away for a few moments. NFL ESPN Power Rankings have the Cleveland Browns ranked number 5 as far as being set up to have success over the next 3 seasons. They ranked every NFL team from first to last in regards to how are they built to achieve success over the next 3 years. Cleveland Browns come in at number 5. The Cincinnati Bengals come in way behind that. They're not last, but they're pretty close. I'll tell you where when we come back. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
When
When you're ready to buy something, the first thing you do is go online. But buying a home is different. You've got loan applications, pre-approvals, competing offers, the list goes on. That's where a Realtor comes in. Realtors have expertise and local knowledge to give you a competitive edge that a search bar just can't. And in today's market, an edge is what you need. So when you're ready to buy a home, the first thing to do is make sure you have an agent who's a Realtor. Realtors are members of the National Association of Realtors. That's who we are.
Staples Connect has everything for school at amazing prices. Right now, Staples one-subject notebooks are only 25 cents each, and Crayola 24-count crayons, 2-pocket polyfolders, and 4-ounce Elmer's glue are just 50 cents each. So your student won't just be ready for school, there'll be tons of drawings to hang on the fridge ready.
We're going to need a bigger refrigerator.
Visit your local Staples store or staples.com/back-to-school and get amazing prices for everything on your back-to-school list. Ends 9/18, limit 30, notebooks in store only. Offer may vary online.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2021 Nielsen Report. Limitations apply.
Cordell Transportation is now hiring Class A CDL drivers. $5,000 sign-on bonus. That's right, $5,000 sign-on bonus. Home daily dedicated lanes, no-touch freight. Apply today at CordellTransportation.com. Cordell Transportation, driven to succeed. The Montgomery County Clerk of Courts Help Center brings the courthouse to the community with its weekly outreach programs to local churches, libraries, and community centers. We help you navigate the legal system. Find a location near you at courthouse2u.com. Brought to you by Montgomery County Clerk of Courts, Mike Foley.
There's never any FOMO with the iHeartRadio app. You won't ever have to miss out on your favorite shows and contests with this radio station again. Radio 24/7, 365. We're here when you want us. Stay connected and listen anywhere when you download the free iHeartRadio app.
Many Vietnam War veterans were unknowingly exposed to dangerous chemicals impacting their health and quality of life. There are now expanded benefits for veterans exposed to Agent Orange. Veterans with Parkinsonism, bladder cancer, or hypothyroidism who previously applied for VA disability compensation but were denied should reapply and might be eligible for retroactive compensation. Exposed veterans who have not yet applied should consider filing a new claim. For assistance, call Montgomery County Veterans Service Commission at 937-225-4801.
The Meyer Distribution Center in Tip City is hiring for warehouse positions in all units, which includes flexible schedules, best-in-class benefits, enhanced starting wages, and a $500 signing bonus. Interested candidates should call 937-669-9109 from 9 a.m. to 2 p.m., Monday through Friday. Walk-in interviews are strongly encouraged, Monday through Friday, 9 a.m. to 2 p.m. Call 937-669-9109 for an interview or apply online at jobs.meyer.com. Meyer is the equal opportunity employer.
Listen to this station anytime, anywhere on Odyssey. Odyssey is your new audio home for all the music, news, sports, and podcasts that matter to you. Odyssey. That's AUDACY.
Polking Bowling Centers are your connection for family fun or a great night out with friends. Looking for something to do this fall? Join your friends in a fun fall league. Adult, youth, or mixed. Take your pick. Polking Bowling Centers has a fun program just for you, providing a safe and sanitized bowling environment. Visit polkingbowling.com or Facebook for the list of fall programs. Let the good times roll at Polking Lanes in Dayton on Wilmington Avenue, Polking Woodman Lanes in Kettering on Woodman Drive, and Polking Lane South in Centerville on Kingsridge Drive.
If the pandemic's taught us anything, it's that the easiest way for germs to get into your body is the nose. Navage uses powered suction to flush out allergens, mucus, and germs that cause congestion, colds, and flu, so you can breathe better, sleep deeper, snore less, and feel healthier. Experience Navage at zero risk. Go to Navage.com, buy Navage, and use it for a month. If you're not delighted, return it for a full refund. There's nothing to lose and a lifetime of better breathing to gain. Navage, Navage.
Attorney Joe Cordell. For many men, divorce brings a bewildering sense of loss. You feel adrift, isolated, like you're the only person in the world. But the good news is, you're not alone. Cordell & Cordell is here to help. For more than 30 years, Cordell & Cordell has been there to guide men through all aspects of divorce. and we'll be there for you.
Schedule an appointment with one of Cordell & Cordell's Dayton area attorneys. 2689 Commons Boulevard, Suite 100, Beaver Creek, Ohio, 45431.
Liberty Mutual customizes your car and home insurance so you only pay for what you need.
Liberty, 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 liberty.
The Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. Weekdays at 3 p.m. right here on Dayton's ESPN radio station, 1410 Wing AM. All sports, all the time. This is 1410 ESPN Radio.
The TBT on WING coming this Friday night. Carmen's Crew, 9 p.m. The Ohio State Buckeyes alumni team will be in their first TBT action of the summer. This team features Aaron Kraft, Dallas Lauderdale, David Lighty, Evan Ravenel. You have Jeff Gibbs, John Diebler, Shannon Scott, Costa Kufis, William Buford, Lenzel Smith Jr. I mean, I really do like this roster a lot. Very, very good roster. And I think that they're the 1 seed for a reason. The Dayton Flyers, their alumni team, the Red Scare, they're the number 2 seed. And their roster features Devin Oliver. Really cool. I mean, to see Devin Oliver out there with Devin Scott, Daryl Davis, Jordan Seibert going to be out there on the floor. How exciting is that? You're going to get to see Kendall Pollard once again, Trey Landers, Ryan Mikesell, and then Trevor Thompson. He played at Virginia Tech and Ohio State, but he was the addition. But he was big for them last year, just having that post presence down low. It's the one thing that they really needed was just someone kind of big down low. That's why Ohio State, they had Costa Kufis. I mean, they added some bigs down there as well. But I like this UD Red Scare roster as well. So again, to see Daryl Davis, Devin Oliver, Jordan Seibert, Kendall Pollard, Ryan Mikesell, Trevor Thompson, Trey Landers, and then of course, we just talked about it with the addition of CJ from Ohio State. That's pretty cool as well. So I'm a big fan of that roster. CJ Walker from Ohio State, the point guard from last year, averaged about 10 points a game. I'm pumped. So this Friday night, it'll be Carmen's Crew at 9 p.m. right here on 1410 Wing. Saturday at 3 p.m. It'll be myself and former Flyer Norm Greavy on the call for the Red Scare game. So pretty pumped about that.
Can't wait, man.
So Ted Ginn Jr. retired after 14 years in the NFL, and I thought about it. I'm like, how many position players that aren't a quarterback last that long in the NFL? I mean, and another Buckeye, the running back that's with the Jaguars, who just never seems to go away either, Carlos Hyde. Then Beanie Wells was another one. I mean, there's a lot of Buckeye players that just seem to have a nice long shelf life in the National Football League. But I kind of forgot he was still playing, to be honest with you.
Yeah,
Ted Ginn, like he was with the Saints.
Last year he was with the Bears, and most of the 2 years before that he was playing with Drew Brees with the Saints, and that's when it was like the Buckeyes South on the Saints and everything like that. But he had a hell of a career, man. People forget that obviously he was like a top 10 pick down with the Dolphins, went to 2 Super Bowls, went to the Super Bowl as the leading receiver for the Carolina Panthers, also went to the Super Bowl as a return specialist for the 49ers that year, that they lost to the Ravens and everything like that. 2 Super Bowl appearances. Unfortunately, he didn't get himself a ring, but, to last that long in the NFL is an amazing feat.
All right. It's the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine. And again, keep in mind, there's going to be, Buckeyes in the NFL, they're no stranger to the NFL. So one moves out, more will be coming in. And I'm excited about that. Training camp kicks off next week for a lot of teams. This week, Cowboys and Steelers and the Bucs. Why are the Bucs starting early again? It's because of that
another advantage.
Their geriatric quarterback. Is that why?
I don't know. Let's find out.
I'm not sure. I know why the Steelers and the Cowboys are, because they have the Hall of Fame game coming up on August 5th. It's July 19th, by the way. What the hell? Unreal. We don't get to dive into this too much. I do want to highlight it as we close the show out today. ESPN, what they did is they put out what they call their power rankings, the NFL future power rankings, projections for all 32 teams over the next 3 seasons. So they all get grades like, an A+ is elite, A great, B very good, C is average, D very bad. I mean, look, trust me, I'm very familiar with this grading scale. I was dissecting it in college, and I was always getting more towards the bottom than the top. So there you go. But very interesting list here when you break it down, because, again, it doesn't surprise me that the Cleveland Browns cracked the top 5 again. The NFL Future Power Rankings. Give us some NFL music as we close out the show. NFL Future Power, please. I do got to be polite tonight. NFL Future Power Rankings project projections for all 32 NFL teams for the next 3 seasons. And again, they're ranked from the team that they really expect to be dominant for the next 3 seasons to the teams that don't really have a direction at the bottom. The Kansas City Chiefs, Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Baltimore Ravens come in at 1, 2, and 3. The one thing you'll notice about every team at the top is they're stable at quarterback, or they have the quarterback that they really, truly believe in. And the rosters are stacked. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers interest me. I don't see 3 more years of dominance from the Buccaneers because they go as Tom Brady goes. And what I mean by that is Antonio Brown's not giving they're not giving discounts if Tom Brady's not there. They're like a lot of guys that are getting, Leonard Fournette, all of these guys that returned, they're not giving the Bucs discounts without Tom Brady being there.
Right.
The Bucs are the only one I have a problem with being at the top of this list is for that reason right there. I don't anticipate Tom Brady being here another 3 years. Maybe he is. But the Chiefs, the Buccaneers, the Ravens, the Bills, and Browns are 1 through 5, ranked in the top 5 as the NFL Power Rankings futures projections is over the next 3 years, these are the teams that they believe are set up for the most success over the next 3 seasons.
I want to see how those quarterback contracts work out before I'm willing to be sold on the Ravens and the Bills and the Browns. I want to see what type of contracts those dudes sign because, if they break the bank, let's say, I don't know, say they do get something near Patrick Mahomes level contract, that's going to affect the team going forward to put players around them and everything like that. So I am anxious to see what type of contracts those dudes sign going forward before I would certify them as top 5 and everything like that. But just looking at it, what they have right now, they're all set up to make deep playoff runs and Super Bowl runs. So I don't really have a team out there that I would say like, all right, no, this team needs to be up there. I mean, you talk about Tampa Bay. I get what you're saying for sure. I mean, with Tom Brady and his age and everything like that, we always try to pull the same thing that we pull on LeBron. Like, well, at some point he's going to get old and break down. Well, when that time comes, wake me up because it ain't happened yet.
No, you're right. And at some point, that's the truth. Now, here's for the Cleveland Browns. They came in at number 5. It says that their overall roster, it's ranked 2nd in the NFL. The Chiefs come in at number 1. Their quarterback is ranked 12th in the NFL at Baker Mayfield. That's about right. I think he's fringe. I think he's when I say top 10, I think he's 9 or 10. If he's on the outside of the top 10, he's fringe top 10. I'm okay with that. They have the 11th best coaching staff in football. Browns fans got all bothered by that. Look, Kevin Stefanski, no one was screaming for Kevin Stefanski to be the head coach of this Browns team a year ago. I wasn't thrilled with the hire, but I was also thrilled with anybody that wasn't Freddie Kitchens. He kicked ass last year. They won a playoff game with him coaching from his basement, basically. So I just think that you had one good season. If the Browns do what they're supposed to, he will not be a top 11 coach. He will be a top 5 coach a year from now if the Browns live up to their expectations. So I'm not worried about that. In the front office, this is the one that is a head scratcher, Kev. The Browns have they are ranked as the 2nd best front office in football. Now, this is all coming down to, again, the general manager in the front office, not the ownership. Ownership is a completely different story. But they have the 2nd best front office in football, according to ESPN, talking about the Cleveland Browns. I like what Andrew Berry was a rookie GM last year. That's what I find funny. Andrew Berry gets the nod as second, highest ranked front office rep. Stefanski's also a rookie playoff coach, and he got number 11. But I love that. I mean, good for Andrew Berry, good for the Browns, but they have made so many great signings, big moves. They construct 0-16 4 years ago to having the 2nd best roster in football, manageable contracts on top of that. I love that. So
that's huge.
We're down to 60 seconds.
That's huge for the Browns, and I'm sure we'll talk more about it tomorrow.
Yeah, we are. We're going to dive deeper and deeper into that. The Cincinnati Bengals, they come in at number 29 on this list. Their overall roster is ranked 29th. Their quarterback is ranked 13th, so Baker Mayfield better than Joe Burrow. I just wanted to get that out there. They have their coach is ranked 30th. And their front office is ranked 30th. Who day? They at the bottom. Have a good night, everybody. We'll do this again tomorrow. Reds baseball coming up tonight. Reds and Mets, game 1 of a 3-game set. 7:10 the first pitch, 6:40 the pregame, right here on 1410 Wing AM. Until tomorrow, it's been the Justin Kinner Show with Kev Nash, presented by Orion Sports Medicine.
It's the Justin